Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ford's Fears Presents The Big One. Today's episode is WandaVision. Ta-da!
Woo!
This is going to be out on the final episode, but we're recording it at the beginning of the episode. Week to week we'll be recording and slapping them together to make one coherent, jibble-jabbled mess of our review of WandaVision as they come out.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be more enthusiastic.
Rather than scrambling to try and watch every episode all in one go after we've already watched them in a week and just pinpointing everything and listing it. We're going to actually try and make it a bit more entertaining. But at first, the first two episodes have come out and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that happens, give our thoughts, and then that will be it. So, starting with the first episode. Dan, do you want to take us away?
Yeah, so in the first episode, it kind of just starts off, the Marvel Cinematic logo coming up, but it kind of goes from colour to start kind of grey state.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. I kind of like the detail.
I'm surprised they didn't do a Mandalorian and ditch the traditional title card with the Marvel logo and flicking. But I guess they're changing it up a bit to make it grey and bringing it into the...
I suppose you could also argue, though, that the Mandalorian has the actual kind of Star Wars franchise logos on it, because it has Lucasfilm and it has the new Star Wars.
I guess, but we're not talking about that. Dan, get back to the episode.
Back to the story. Anyway, so the intro kind of starts off as kind of everyone around the street going like, WandaVision.
WandaVision. Is that the second one? No, that is the
both of them do it.
Yeah, they're weird. They're very weird intros, because it's like they're driving up, they got married, or they gotten married in quotation mark. They pull up to a house, it's got a for sale sign on it, and she magics it to be sold, and then they wander in, he phases through the door, and she drops on the floor, and then he opens the door, picks her up, and then he phases through a chair because it's in the way, and he's still carrying
comedy.
Her. Yeah, I think it's intentionally bad comedy, because that's just what...
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's meant to mock what happened in like 1950s.
Yeah, it's got a lot of weird, subtle sexism as well, because that's a lot of things that happen in those shows of the old... And it's just weird. It's weird to see it through this modern lens, and it's just a fun thing to watch. Next, the episode is basically them trying to figure out what this heart on their calendar is, and Wanda thinks it's a anniversary, and then Vision finds out that it's his boss is meant to be coming over.
Yeah, and had kind of like a comedic scene of when they both thought different things.
Yeah,
and then they never gave away that they thought different things, as the joke goes.
Yeah, but I really like the office scene. The whole show is basically, there's something off about it, because it's black and white, it's in the square box format on your TV, it's not wide screened anymore.
Yeah, I think like they keep wanting to kind of drop these subtle hints that more and more as it goes along, it's not what it seems.
It's not real. And then Vision starts talking to his colleague at work, and he's going, what is it we actually do? And the colleague's like, well, we do this. But it's a very vague and it's just we do counting and we up and down. But it never states what they actually do. And he's like, okay. And then his boss comes out, and it's just like, that's...
I did have a kind of theory behind this, what's happening. And part of me was thinking, is someone kind of warping Wanda's mind? Because Vision is alive in her mind? Either they're trying to trick her mind to basically... Because of the Mind Stone that connects Vision and Wanda together, that she can kind of simulate Vision in her head, and then she can compute like crazy scientific algorithms.
Well, she has...
crazy computer algorithms.
In the comics, I know she has the ability to warp reality. She's done it before. I think in the trailer, like in the original trailer at the release, there was a hint towards the House of M, which is the big event that made there be no more mutants in the Marvel cinema in the comic book world. They got rid of
Maybe you could do it the other way around.
Yeah, this might bring in mutants. But yeah, that's one of the theories that people have. But yeah, I think it's dropping some subtle hints and references. They've got the Stark toaster. That was
so midway through the episodes 1 and 2, they had adverts,
like little weird 1950s
This
ads.
one's 50s, next one's 60s.
Yeah, weird little 1950 ad that's like, here's the Stark toaster, or it's like, here's a new toaster. It's for the woman of the house. So these sexist things, 60s, and it's like women belong in the thing. And then we'll get to episode 2 in a minute. But
although the weird part about these toasters is like, it can make like a meatloaf.
Yeah,
with grilled cheese. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like that. What the fuck? And then it's beeping, and it's like really long beeping, and then it's just cutting back to the faces.
Oh, it had like the the ion blaster noise. It's like, ding!
Yeah.
That had that noise at the start of it, which made me think, I was like, what?
Yeah, it had
I kind of like, I'm really kind of, I mean, I hope it's going to have a good reveal at the end of this.
well, it kind
really
of looked like a robot face to me. Like, it's got the two little dials as the eyes, and then there's a little slot thing at the bottom that looks like a mouth. And it looks like a robot head. And I was just like, that's... If it looked a bit more like Age of Ultron, like, weird...
Imagine if Ultron's behind this.
Imagine. Because there's the possibility he had a body somewhere, or like a hard drive stored somewhere that Vision didn't wipe into it. I still want that, because Age of Ultron is one of my favorite movies.
Maybe Hydra brought back Ultron.
We'll get to this. But yeah, they have some hijinks in a kitchen where Wanda's trying to cook up a meal for the boss of Vision, because the boss is coming around and they have the little thing. Wanda thinks it's their anniversary, so it's dressed up all sexy and turned the lights off, and Vision and his boss and his wife come in, and then Wanda comes up and, for some odd reason, mistakes Vision, a shorter man, like a tall man, and a short man who's quite chubby, as him. And somehow that mishap happens. But that's classic 1950s mishaps.
1950s comedy, people.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was...
And they kind of make the joke that it's because it's a European formal greeting.
Yeah, also the outfit's Sokovian, but the outfit's like sort of sexy, but it's like really not compared to like modern day sexy.
It probably was in 1950s.
Yeah, it's like 1950s sexy sex appeal, because it's like slightly cleavaged. And it's like...
very slightly.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah. And then they have there's some mishaps in the kitchen. I like the effect of like the really shitty, like everything's floating, where it just looks like someone's holding it across the screen.
Yeah, you know, I think they've done it really well to put it into this sort of scene.
Yeah,
as in like they've made it feel like it is a 1950s sitcom.
Yeah, with the cheap budget and everything. I like the little fade effect on his face whenever he changes from Vision, or instead of it like the chameleon peel or whatever it is, it's like a flash, and then he Paul Bettany rather than Vision, because it's like there's like that skin change thing which changes, but I think they stopped doing it.
Quite expensive as well. Like, it's expensive. What's cheaper? Just changing it instantly.
Just changing it instantly because it's magic.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
And then the very weird scene sort of happened.
Yeah, where the boss has a heart attack. Because he's
choking. Heart attack. He's choking.
I thought it was a heart attack at first because I didn't see him eat something at the beginning. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought it might have been Scarlet Witch choking him.
That's what I thought it was a heart attack because he was like really angry before that scene, and I was like, oh, he's got a heart attack because that's like classic anger management problems. He gets a heart attack. But they sort of hinted at it because it's like, oh, do they? There's a scene earlier on where they're talking about what they're going to cook for dinner, and it's like, do you want a hard covered chocolate strawberry? And that's what he chokes on.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I didn't realize that bit. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I noticed it afterwards because I was like, what's he choking on? And then it's just choking on that strawberry because once Vision pulls it out from his chest by phasing through, and just ripping it out, and no one comments on it, and then they're hating, the boss is hating it. That's the thing we should mention. The boss is hating it. And then once Vision pulls out, Wanda tells him to. That's the thing that I found.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It slows down and it changes camera angles a lot, and it's just
and
like
the music kind of changes as well. To like
it's like
maybe
I thought it was like it's like a horror thing, where it just sort of the dude's choking, the wife is asking someone help, but it's like really slow and it's like laughing sort of. And then Wanda's panicking. Vision's just looking like doesn't know what to do. Then Wanda just tells him to help him. And then Vision just gets up and jolts up and goes and helps. Like Vision doesn't know what to do in that situation. And then
yeah, it's really strange.
And then he phases the strawberry or whatever it is out of the dude's chest to stop him from choking. And then they suddenly love him and they talking about giving Vision a promotion, because that's the whole premise. It's like Vision's gonna, if they don't help or make the guests happy, he'll be fired from his job and whatnot.
The job he doesn't even know what he's doing, but
yeah. And there's the little scene where he's like, "Oh, what do we do again?" And he's just like, "Oh, we do this." And he's like, "Oh, right." And then he goes, "You're dense, aren't you?" And it's like, "Nah, because he's fruit shit. He has no density.
yeah.
He can change his density."
then they sort of had it kind of even further reveals, like, oh wait, we have no anniversary, we have no song, we have no.
We don't even have wedding rings, and then they make wedding rings appear, and they're like, this will be our anniversary. The date is the 23rd, and I was looking back to when Infinity War came out, and I couldn't remember if it came out on the 23rd of April. And
I felt like it did.
That's
it's definitely somewhere around there.
Yeah, it came out in April, but I was trying to find out whether or not it came out on the 23rd of April, at least in the UK. But I think it released worldwide on at least some point on. The 23rd must be significant for something.
Yeah, it might even be something in the actual universe itself, but
yeah. But I was trying to remember if Infinity War came out at April 20, or even Endgame came out 23rd, but I can't remember. Because I know it would be significant, because that was, if it was Infinity War, that would have been when Vision died, and that would have been the anniversary.
Yeah,
but that's what I was thinking when it first came out. But yeah, and then at the end they give wedding rings. It zooms out and it does thing, and it brings the title like end credit thing, and then it zooms out of a TV, and we get a hand and some other monitors and stuff monitoring it. So,
do you think that was Darcy?
It looked more masculine, the hand. I don't think
I didn't really notice.
I think it's a more masculine hand. Let me. But yeah, I saw like a little sword logo, and sword's like the other version of shield, but for space. Like there's
also 7 rings, 10 rings.
Yeah, 10? But 10 rings, because that's in Marvel. Yeah, maybe that's a female hand. It does look quite feminine.
Yeah, I thought it was Darcy when I saw it.
It might be Darcy, but I don't know why she. But yeah,
it doesn't look like it's in a lab or anything. It looks like it's in like a.
Oh yeah, for people who don't know, Darcy is Natalie Portman's Jane Foster in the.
And she's rumored. Well, she is in the show.
She's in the show, but we haven't seen her yet. And yeah, but yeah, I thought overall good episode.
Oh yeah, I'm hooked into the show already. I really like it.
Yeah, it was a very interesting watch, because it's like I've not watched anything from that era, and I'm just like, if this is what it is like, I don't know if I want to watch.
But definitely, each episode it does seem to be changing
eras.
Decades or
Also, the end credits is very, very long, and there's no post credit scene, which is
it's 7 minutes roughly of end credits.
And there's nothing at the end. It's like the first time that you sit through all of the credits and there's nothing there. And you're kind of just... Except for Endgame, where they play the Tony Stark hammer, where he's creating the first Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, actual visual thing. There's not even, like, a cue of anything, which is...
Although, as much as it annoys me, the credits are really long, I actually really like the CGI credits.
Yeah, I do like those.
I love this, like, it's going through a TV screen, you see pixels kind of floating around everywhere, and they're kind of changing in different shapes and stuff.
I imagine if we knew comic books better, there'd be a lot of hints that we're missing.
It probably was. But yeah, I really like the show.
Yeah, so far, episode 1 is very good. Now, moving on to episode 2, it starts with the logos again, and then it goes straight to a bedroom.
But the logo's a bit differently this time. It actually mimics the Bewitched show back in the 1960s, but it's in grayscale sort of colour.
Yeah, but before that intro happens, there's the bit in the bed where there's some banging on the window or outside, and Wanda's woken up, and then she's like, oh, Vision, go and do that. And they have like that married thing where the man's meant to go out and be all manly. And he's more scared than she is, and she's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And then there's some hanky-panky going on in the room.
There's definitely a 9+ show.
Yeah. We were discussing this earlier. It's like this show is rated 9+ on Disney for some odd reason. Like, it's the lowest rated Marvel property, I think, out of all of the stuff that they've released. Except for maybe, like, really kid-friendly content, but this is like still meant for adults and stuff because of everything about Marvel.
Yeah, of course.
But this
people are outcrying about that,
what
being a lower rating.
Yeah, who cares?
They're like, it's a lower rating. It's gonna be bad.
Ratings mean nothing because an R rating in America is just if it has a bunch of swear words. Like that's all that makes it R rated.
I mean, over here, you actually have to have some kind of blood.
Like, Deadpool...
Like a serious amount.
Deadpool 1 is a 15 over here. It's not 18.
1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are 15 over here. They're not like extreme violence. It's just because there's boobs in Deadpool, which makes it immediately in America you can't have boobs or anything like that.
Over here you can.
Yeah, the British love
Very
it.
European.
Yeah. Speaking of, there's no like visual sex, but they do close the beds together because for some odd reason there are 2 separate beds because it's the classic married couple thing where you have 2 beds and then you push the beds together when you want to get hanky panky, and then they pull the covers over and you cut away to the intro screen that Dan was talking about. And then you get into
there's also they made a joke about redecorating as well.
Yeah.
At the start, which is I imagine them shifting from one.
And then the premise of the show, the episode premise happens, and they're meant to be performing at some event for kids because it's Think of the Children.
For the children.
For the children. And they're
and
doing.
You know what I thought of when I heard that?
Simpsons?
No, for the greater good. Hot buzz.
I thought of the Simpsons, the children. Won't someone think of the children? But yeah, they're doing a magic performance because Wanda is a magic and whatnot. But Vision's the one who's performing because he's the man, and Wanda has to be the sexy assistant.
Yeah.
Because
welcome to sexism, people. What it was like in 1960s.
And so they're playing around with a cupboard, and it's like all the hacky. Because none of this is like real magic that they're doing. It's all like practical magic that like anyone could do if they had a magic kit. And they have like a cupboard, and it's like, oh, it's the spinning back door that they can hide behind. And it's I'll pull a rabbit from a hat, but it's got the little trap door under the table thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we're gonna do great. And then Wanda steps outside, and this is all in black and white. But then there's some banging outside, and she walks out, and she sees some red and yellow. And she walks over to her bushes, and there's a red and yellow helicopter.
Which is weird, because what does that mean? Why is it a helicopter?
I thought it was like a spy drone at first that was hovering around their house, but it looks like just a toy. There's like no tech in it or anything.
I suppose maybe like kind of the only other thing it could be is to reference that she's having a kid later on.
Maybe.
But that's kind of as much as I can think of in the show. I'm very much in the dark in the show. I don't like it.
But then she meets up with her friend from the last episode.
Agnes?
I think the name changes, because I thought she was Diane in the last episode, and then she's Agnes in this.
Oh yeah, I think you're right, actually.
That's something that... So maybe she'll change names in the next episode, and then we can confirm whether or not she... But then she walks up, and her friend tells her about this bitchy lady who is running the event, and is like really stuck up and hates anyone who isn't perfect, and Wanda's trying to impress her. And doing a terrible job. And I think she meets Monica Rambeau's daughter? Is
Monica Rambeau?
From Captain Marvel. The friend of Captain Marvel. You know her you know her daughter?
Yeah.
I think that's who that lady that she's talking to, who's all nice and friendly to her, is meant to be.
Oh, wow.
Because she keeps saying she doesn't know why she's there.
Oh.
And I think in one of the trailers, there's a scene where a lady who looks very similar to this one, but in color, because it's black and white in this, and then in the trailers it's color because it's probably further along down the line. She comes disheveled and is like, "Why am I here?" to Wanda, and she can't answer. But I think it's the same character. But I think that person's meant to be maybe Monica Rambeau's daughter.
Right.
So they're tying it into Captain Marvel.
Theory.
I think it's meant to be, because I know the character is in the show. I don't know if that character is that character though. I can't.
It probably is. If it isn't, no, I'd imagine it.
Because I don't know why they would spend so much time on that character if it wasn't that.
Yeah,
character.
I know. Noticed that. Maybe you're right. My God.
And then it goes to Vision going to the town watch meeting, where they're just a bunch of lads talking about rumors about other men and how they're all
just a big gossip group, basically.
Yeah. And then Vision's like the dorky nerd who no one wants to talk to, and then he makes a communist joke, and he gets in with the lads. And
of course, communism in 1996.
Yep. And then he eats some gum and gets drunk because it clogs up his gears.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, but I think that still feels weird to me.
Yeah, because I don't think he has gears.
No, he doesn't.
But I think
he's an android. He actually has flesh.
He's got it's vibranium. It's vibranium made to look like flesh.
Yeah, but it's like infusing. It's like all infused.
I don't think
it's made in the cradle. That can make.
Yeah, it's
flesh,
it's a vibranium mesh that is flesh-like because it's got the same. It's got the same structural integrity as vibranium, but because it's made of mesh, it can do the weird phasing shit, density stuff that Vision can do for some. But yeah, because it's like the perfect body. That's why Ultron wanted it. But yeah, then he I don't know.
And they sort of had the kind of more Bewitched kind of references. They had kind of the cartoons in between, whereas it showed the gum getting stuck in the gears.
Yeah, and it's like clogging it up, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm so fiddly diddly. I'm so drunk, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I've lost all inhibitions."
And then they kind of cut back to
Wanda and bitchy lady,
the horrible lady.
I don't remember the lady's name, but
I think I have a D.
Diane.
Yeah, maybe Dina.
Maybe. Correct us if we're wrong in the comments, people. It'll be weeks after this episode's air, and we'll maybe learn her name again.
Yeah, and then Wanda's cleaning up basically after the PTA meeting or whatever it is.
And then she gets in an argument or like a discussion with the lady over why is she here? I think that's the reason. And then a voice on the radio starts coming through asking, why are you doing? Who's doing this to you? What's happening? Why?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, and I at first thought that was Doctor Strange. Because I know WandaVision is tied to the Multiverse of Madness, which is the Doctor Strange movie. And I thought, it sounds kind of American English, Benedict Cumberbatchy. And it's kind of distorted, so it's kind of hard to tell if it is Benedict Cumberbatch, like, asking, why are you in here? Because he might be trying to break her out of this reality.
Yeah.
Kind of snap her back. And then the bitchy lady cuts herself, and you can see red, because it's actual blood red.
Yeah, I was like, it's the second reference similar to the helicopter. It
yeah.
seems to be always red.
Red and yellow, because Vision's face is red and yellow, or like a...
And her powers are red as well.
Yeah. And then we get another ad, speaking of ads from our last episode, but it's for a watch this time, and the watch has a Hydra symbol on it, and it's called the Strucker, which is the guy who created her. Because the dude Baron von Strucker.
This show, man, it's just something else.
It's an interesting thing, and also it's, again, more blatant sexism, because it's like, men only have two things that they need. A woman on their side, and a Strucker watch. And that's all they need.
I don't know what it is, but I really like the comedy in the show. It's not even good comedy, I just like the comedy.
I think it's just making fun of the things that people used to enjoy. And then it cuts to the talent show, and Wanda's panicking because she's like, what is going on? Where is Vision? And Vision turns up drunk with gum in his system. And then
I actually really like this whole scene.
Yeah, it's like Vision starts doing outlandish, crazy shit, and Wanda has to start fixing it by making it look old-timey and shit. So Vision starts floating, and then she cranks up a rope, and they all go, oh, that's how they did it. A rope that wasn't there 10 seconds ago. and then he starts picking up a piano, and it's like a really heavy piano, and then she makes it like a cardboard cutout, and she just walks away, and it's like, oops, you weren't meant to see how we did that.
Yeah, then the guy on the road was like, that was my grandmother's.
Yeah, that was a good joke. I like that joke, because it's like, that was my... And it's just, they never explain what happens after that. And then he does the classic card trick where he's go, pick a card, any card, and then he's like, that's not my card, and then he just goes through the entire deck and just goes, that's my card, and then the dude actually accepts that it's his card. So that's the strange thing that happens, because the reality of it is like, even if the thing's bad, they still like it.
Yeah, I was like, what?
And then there's a rabbit on the stage that was the friend lady gave to her.
Yeah, and then Vision put a hat through his stomach.
Yep, and then it's just mirrors, and then they go, "Is that how mirrors work? Shut up!" That was my favorite joke of the episode, because it's just like, how every fucking thing explains magic is just mirrors, and it's just like shut the fuck up. And I love that joke. That was great. And then they do the cupboard trick, but Wanda isn't in the cupboard, and then Wanda's like, "Honey, I'm not," and then they go, "Oh shit," and then they start booing at them or something. No, they start going, "What's in the cupboard?"
Yeah, what's in the cupboard?
And then they snap the lady who Wanda was talking to at the thing, who's the like one of the people who's letting everyone on.
Who you think is
Monica?
child.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau. Remember which one? Which is if the kid's name is Monica?
I don't remember anyone's names in that film.
And then they snap her into the cupboard, and she has a little scene where she goes, "One minute I was backstage, and the next I'm in a cupboard. How'd you do that?" And they go, "A magician never tells his secret, but I've got my assistant here, and she's keeping her lips sealed." And they go, and then they go home, and then they're like, "Would you want kids or something like that?" Is the conversation?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she becomes pregnant.
Yeah, just balloon belly straight away.
And then they hear another banging from outside, and they go outside.
And they go to investigate.
And then the same sinister music plays from the first episode.
And then I didn't realize that. And then a sewer grate pops off, and a guy in a bee suit with a bunch of bees around him comes out. And he looks at them, and then Wanda goes, "Nope," and then it rewinds back to the point where she's pregnant again, because they were about to kiss before the banging on the...
Yeah.
And then they kiss, and then Vision gets colour in his face, and then Wanda turns around and everything is getting colour again. And then that's where it ends.
Yeah,
with every...
strange. And it kind of leads like to sort of more what's behind this. So I thought maybe Hydra's behind this somehow because it had the Strucker watch.
Yeah, I think maybe it's Sword. I don't know. Maybe Sword's trying to fix it, and Hydra's the one responsible for it. But isn't Hydra like gone? Because like it's gone in Agents of Shield. It's gone in.
Even then, it's gone in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, like they destroyed it in Agents of Shield. It's gone in the Marvel universe, like the movies at least. So maybe it's a maybe they're bringing in AIM from the like comics.
Or maybe AIM.
Bring MODOK because MODOK's got like mind power, like telekinesis stuff. So they might change him to be.
Maybe we will have to wait and see. And I think that's it for my.
But overall, first 2 episodes really good. You'll immediately hear our thoughts on episode 3 in about 2 seconds, but that's about it. Now, peace. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's episode 3. We're back for another episode. Episode 3 of WandaVision.
Woohoo!
Dan, I'm filling for time, because I don't know how to start this, because we're jumping straight into it. There's a new fun intro of WandaVision.
This can be the same every week now. You can keep doing this. I mean, maybe for every 10 minutes for them, but every week for us.
For us, it's going to be a lot of faffing about.
I'm so sorry for everything, but...
They're on a bicycle. It's in colour.
WandaVision now in colour. With a nice 1970s opening theme.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, the episode, or...
Well, in general, yeah. Episode, intro your thoughts, feelings, emotions, Dan.
Well, the intro, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of this intro as I was last week's.
Really?
I really
enjoyed it.
I really liked last week's intro.
I like the giraffe.
Not as a bad intro. I mean, I think it's plenty fine. It does the job, but it's not my favourite one.
Sure. They're eating ice cream?
I'm very interested.
Without...
There's rumours that they might be doing a Modern Family style one in one of the later episodes.
Well, that'll probably be the next.
Modern Family is 10s.
There's a reboot of Modern. Oh, that one.
Do you mean the Goldbergs?
No, that's set in the 80s. That's not me.
It's
like, what, a Fuller House? Is that it? Is that what they're parodying?
I think it's that one, yeah, Fuller House.
That's the one. Yeah. Well, Wanda's pregnant, and that's the whole basis of this episode.
Yes.
She's pregnant with twins.
Although that's not revealed to the end, but, you know.
Spoilers. If you've gone this far, we've already done episode 1 and 2. And then if you're like, hey, look, episode 3. Spoilers, man. Come on.
I mean, at this point, episode 3 is going to be out for 6 weeks.
It's going to be out for a long time. You've had all the time in the world. Unless you're doing it like you just binge watching it. But then why are you listening to the spoiler review before you've binge watched it? Anyway.
This is going great.
We're already complaining halfway into the fucking... A third of the way into the season, because there's 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Right, let's get through this.
This is so bad.
It's fine. All we're doing is watching Wanda have a conversation with her doctor, who's a little bit...
Yeah, but
He's
1970s, you know?
he's
That's the humour.
making those 1970s... I don't know. I can't remember what he says, but I know it was... Because she makes a little questioning face. And then...
Yeah, and there's always this kind of joke behind it, so they don't know where the baby came from, because it didn't actually... You know, she's like 6 months pregnant at this point, isn't she, or something like that?
Now, Dan, do you reckon Vision has a penis? Because he can...
He definitely has a penis. He definitely
sure
has.
Just smooth? Because I can't remember in Age of Ultron, because he comes out and he doesn't have one.
That's true.
Grown?
But it can get like a cape, can't he? He can create things. He can change what his face looks like.
True,
he can grow hair.
Yeah, he can grow. So maybe Wanda, because Wanda may or may not be controlling this reality. Maybe she's given him a penis. And when they were doing it hanky panky style in the last episode under the covers, he put that robot dick in her.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then maybe it's... Whose sperm do you think it is? Because can he create sperm, or does he have an artificial supply?
WandaVision's created the baby. Why do you think this?
I gotta wonder if...
Sure. It's yellow floaty things. Let's move on. Please move on. Right, so the Doctor's going on holiday, which will come back later on in the episode, which, is a nice little callback in the episodes.
Well, it's a nice little foreshadowing of what... Because it's like... foreshadowing he's going on holiday. We're just gonna jump ahead and move around a lot. It doesn't matter that much, but it's like later a bit he goes, I can't go on holiday. It's like you can't leave this place, hinting that he's kind of trapped here and he can't leave.
Yes, which opens up a lot of interesting theories behind this.
And the end definitely open theories.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the end? Because we don't have to stick to a structure. We can just pick and choose what we want.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Do you want to say what happens at the end?
Okay, yeah, sure.
We'll sort of there's a character introduced. Oh, do you remember what their name is?
G, I think, begins with G.
Wait,
is it the black guy or is it the?
No. Well, he's acting weird.
Yeah, so
he's got a hedge trimmer and
yeah.
he's just sort of glitched and started digging into the wall.
Yeah, which is very weird.
And Vision's like, "Oh, you aware that you're cutting into your wall?" And he goes and looks at it and goes, "Oh," and then continues doing it. And then later on, after all the shenanigans that have happened with the baby and Vision like preparing to he's still there later on.
Yeah, and he's chatting to the girl.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name. People who've watching the episode know the name because they've watched the episode. Yeah. And they have this
It's been a while since we watched it.
Yeah, we didn't quite record this on the same night, which we were going to, but whatever, it's fine. And then they have this kind of discussion sort of behind Vision's back.
Yeah.
And it's all a bit weird.
It's a bit off. But yeah, I know that the character who's in the episode, who's Wanda's, who like comes in and helps Wanda give birth and stuff, is meant to be Monica Rambeau. I think I got the last week's one because I was like, oh, that's meant to be Monica Rambeau.
No, it's the same person.
Is it? It doesn't.
Yeah, it's the same person.
Oh, maybe it's just the makeup. It makes them look different.
Probably the dark, the black and white. So
maybe I think
it's the same person.
Yeah. But they're Monica Rambeau, who's from Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, but I can't remember if the daughter is a different.
No, the daughter's a Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, I can't remember what the mom's called.
No, do I? Anyway,
but yeah, that's meant to be her. So we're just going to refer to her as Monica Rambeau. We might be wrong. We might not be wrong.
It is her.
Done a bit more
research. Anyway, so Wanda's just given birth to the twins. And she's having a discussion with Monica, or in this show she's called something else. No, Darcy is the woman talking to... No, Darcy's the blonde chick.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so this Monica is like... She's playing a character in a TV show. Her name's not Monica in the TV show. And her personality is kind of like very...
bubbly.
Very bubbly, very happy, and she's talking to Wanda at the middle of the episode, kind of saying like, oh, about a work story or whatever, and then there's this kind of comedy joke where there's a stalk, and then Wanda can't get rid of it.
Because it's like a magical story and change the reality. Because she's having a baby.
Yeah, it's all, 1970s comedy and 1970s acting. Anyway, she mentions like, oh, about twins, and then Wanda's like, oh, I was once of a twin of Peachly. Monica.
He was killed by Ultron.
But it's kind of look in her face. It's like a
Well,
reveal.
there's some sort of phasing thing happening around her face. He's like kind of snapping out of it. And also Vision has a moment where he kind of questions what's happening when he's on the couch with Wanda.
Yeah, and then she snaps back.
And then it just kind of cuts and reverses back, and then it's because she has a panicked look on her face, like figuring it out, and then she's like worried because I'm watching this at the moment, and then it just kind of jolts, and then it cuts back to like a few seconds later, and he's like changed his opinion on what's happening, and he's all happy and like, this is great.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And so Monica's currently got a sword logo on her pendant.
Yeah, so in the first episode we saw that in the notebook that they're writing in.
I didn't notice that bit.
Yeah, that's in the when the TV screen comes out and you see the hand, they're writing in a sword book.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's also on the helicopter. I rewatched that as well.
And it's also on the B-Man suit as well.
Yeah.
So on the back of
Sword
the
is
second episode.
definitely got something. This and Sword in the comics stands for sort of space, whatever it is. It's basically Space Shield. But I think they changed the acronym for this show.
Yeah. Anyway, Wanda's getting she's a bit pissed at Monica.
Yeah.
Who's looked like she just kind of snapped out of a trance.
Yeah. And she's getting really angry at the mention of Ultron and like trying to, who are you? Because she's like, what are you doing here? And the neighbors, Vision goes out at this point, has already gone out at this point to say goodbye to the Doctor, who does the, he can't leave, so he won't be going on holiday. And then he talks to the neighbors, and the neighbors are like, oh, is Monica in there? Because she's not from around here.
Yeah.
And they're like, they can't say why it's bad, and they're kind of like glitching, sort of. They're like trying to reset the conversation.
And then
because Vision keeps pushing it.
The guy was about to spill everything.
Herb. Yeah.
Guy.
I think the guy's name is Herb. I don't know the guy's name.
Anyway, she
look it up.
She goes to Herb.
Talking, I'll look it up.
Yeah, so she goes to Herb and says, "No, shh, can't say anything." So it seems like they know what's happening. And then they tell Vision to go back inside, and Vision goes back inside, and then Monica's disappeared. And Wanda said everything is okay, and then Monica's just been flung outside this imaginary world where helicopters come in to go come find her. And then it ends.
Okay, so the actress's name is Catherine Hahn, but she's just put down as Nosy Neighbor, so she doesn't actually have a name.
Yeah,
At least according to...
I think she does have a name, but I don't know what it is. And then it ends there. So at that point, it opens up a lot of kind of theories about what's going to happen.
Ooh, this is interesting. Looking at the cast list, I know it's probably because it's Google and it's probably just generated by things, but James Spader Ultron up in the cast list, so James Spader's
interesting.
Or in future episodes, so that's something to speculate because Ultron is name dropped, and he is the cause of its death, Quicksilver. And I'm sure, and also there is the potential that Ultron may still be out there because he is an AI and he could have unlocked it.
Yeah. Anyway,
and it could still be a part of Vision. You never know.
So, what do you think about sort of Sword then? What do you think the plotline is for that?
It's interesting because in the comics, Sword is good because they're basically the space version.
I think Sword is good.
Yeah, I'm questioning whether or not they're trying to break Wanda out of this. But every time they go in, it happens to happen to Monica, and you kind of get forced into that reality, and then you kind of snap out of it, and then Wanda just kicks you out. Because what happens is Wanda, like, throws a massive, like, what the fuck are you doing here moment, and then it just cuts to Vision coming back in. And then it's just, she's not there anymore. And then the episode sort of ends, and then it cuts to a bubble, and Monica just gets shot out the bubble, and she looks like dazed and confused, and then a whole bunch of SWAT people surround her, and then you sort of see floodlights on this bubble, and there's like tents in the background.
I've sort of seen some theories about maybe Wanda's actually the bad person in this show. Maybe she's the villain, or she's unaware of being the villain of the show. And then she's actually controlling the minds of everyone around her. Because if you notice, everyone around her, they have a personality of they're in their show. And it's only sort of at a point where they snap.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This might be sort of ridiculously stupid. But this is me just coming up with this on the spot because of what I just saw on the casting list with James Spader's or is in the mentions of the cast. If Ultron had a piece of his system in Vision still, just dormant, hidden away, like when Vision does that, gets rid of Ultron, maybe got into Vision somehow. But then once Vision dies, that part of Ultron regrows and starts starts communicating to Wanda to come and get Vision, and then take Vision, and has corrupted her mind a bit to try and create this reality and has tricked her. This is maybe very far out there. This may be one of those so ridiculous it's not true, but if it did, that'd be a great way to bring Ultron back, and then they can as a proper continuing threat in the MCU.
Well, I don't know if you saw this, because I saw this this week. Apparently, an end credit scene in Endgame was cut out.
Yeah.
Where it was Scarlet Witch or Wanda going to like a grave or like a cemetery, going to go get Vision's body, and it was just lying on the flatbed. And then she saw him, and they would just cut, and then that would lead into WandaVision.
That I'm guessing they cut it because the end. There's the no end credit is great for ending.
Yeah, and I think another theory, it could be Wanda is trying to bring back Vision from the dead.
Yeah, and
maybe she's got stuck in some kind of machine or whatever.
Yeah, I reckon because there are people in the comics and people who know comics a lot better than us have said that there's like the devil could be the deal with the devil, and in order to bring him back, she's had to create this reality, and she's had to sell a part of her. And that the devils in the Marvel comics are like
right.
So it's like stuff like that who are like really powerful devils in the other universe, and they could be trying to affect. But yeah, it's like what is going on? Because that end credit thing, that end scene, makes me go, what is happening? Because I was like, is this just an alternate, all in her head? But it seems to be a real life place where people have actually just gone, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I mean, so much. I don't know how to process this.
What do you think of Paul Bettany with his little...
I actually really like Paul Bettany in this show. I think he does a really good job.
But I think Elizabeth Olsen is fucking kicking ass in all of this, because she's doing so much, like everything, like every emotion. She's great.
It's really good. Really good acting in this show. Yeah. Also, did you notice the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference during the advert?
The Hydra thing?
Yeah, so in the advert was Hydra bath soap.
Yeah. Also, apparently you can now buy the Strucker watch from the last episode.
Oh, can you actually? Well,
yeah.
In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, where they're in the framework, Phil Coulson mentions that Hydra are controlling everyone by using soap. So that is a callback to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4.
Also, I think there's a tagline in Your Problems Aren't Something Else. Yeah, it's Do You Need a Break? And it's like Wanda's broken from reality, if you want to dig in it to that way. And
there's
it's
a
like
lot of Easter eggs in the show.
And your problems float away and all that. And it's when you want to get away and you don't want to get anywhere, it's like create your own reality. So it's in the ad itself is kind of creating Wanda's doing all of it. I think it's a given that Wanda's doing it all.
Oh, 100%. She's completely controlling this whole universe. That much we do know, and it even seems like she's controlling Vision.
Yeah,
to some extent.
At least fixing maybe his personality to match better with what she.
Yeah,
she's not letting it free. She's fixing what she doesn't like the questioning, because it's like the last episode where it reverses everything so that it's all happy and the B-Man isn't. He's kind of like it just like reverses back and it's like that.
I think this episode has really made me interested into. Like I liked it beforehand, but now I'm really hooked into it. I really want to know now what's happening.
What do you think of the like setting up the baby room and the names? Because Billy.
Yeah, so that is two people in the comic books.
I think they've got different names in the comic books.
No, I think that's his names in the comic book. But the actual. I think
they're slightly different.
The people in the comic books, it's another Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, basically, but they're both men.
Yeah, it's...
One's a speedster, one has a witch ability, basically.
One's
called Wiccan.
Yeah. Like, he's the speedy boy, and then there's...
The Wiccan's the witch one.
Oh, whatever. There's one who can do speed. Well, apparently in the comics, there is a Marvel run Scarlet Witch actually are
Incest!
Comic. But the thing I wanted to talk about, in that, when Vision said, like, baby training stuff, and he's doing that little doll, and it's a little blonde doll, and it's a female doll, in the comic book, House of M is, like, one of the only people who remembers mutants, because there's a big whole thing where Wanda goes, no more mutants, and wipes out mutants, makes it so there's no more mutants, and only a couple mutants is one of them, and he meets a little girl who remembers mutants, and then through that, they remake all the mutants, and then they go and fight Wanda and get all the mutants.
Yeah.
So, if that's setting up that little girl's going to be in the show, they might be doing the reverse of it and making mutants a thing in the end.
Maybe mutants were already a thing, and then Wanda already had these powers.
Well, there's this episode or one of the previous episodes. There's a line that they say that it was already dormant in her. The stuff. If Wanda creates this massive blast of energy from the power stone, what stone? Mind Stone.
Mind Stone.
It might unlock the pool, like the Terrigen and stuff.
Maybe, but we'll have to see in the next episode.
Yeah, I think that's enough time for this one. We'll cut straight to number 4 and a 1 and a 2 and episode 4.
Yay!
Do you want to hit us off with what happens? What are your thoughts, feelings, emotions on it?
It's episode 4. I've got to remember what episode 4 is about now. Right, so episode 4. We actually see the outside world for the first time.
Yeah, it doesn't start with a fun, catchy intro credit scene.
Yeah, which is very unusual.
Well, for any other TV series.
yeah, it's unusual for this one. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting the blip.
No, I wasn't expecting that either. I was like, oh my god. So we now know Monica Rambeau was affected by the blip.
Yep, and her mum wasn't affected by the blip, but was cured of cancer.
Yeah.
And then died of cancer 3 years later.
Which is kind of deep, you know?
I thought that was the darkest thing a Marvel movie's done.
It was?
Well,
of course it's darkest.
Well, it's pretty dark, though, because it's like, she comes back, her mum's dead, she thinks it's only been a few minutes, and then the thing was successful. And then her mum's dead, but 2 years later, and her mum didn't see her because she was panicked that her daughter wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty dark. That's pretty fucked.
That's like, oh my god. Very deep.
That's like a fucking dark intro.
But, you know, that's sort of... I mean, I think the whole of WandaVision is kind of dark in some way.
Yeah, it's got a definitely dark undertone. But this is proper, the first time it goes real dark. And this episode's real dark.
But the fact is, the whole show's the lowest rating a Marvel film's got, but it doesn't feel like it.
That's because people don't understand fucking, it's oh, it's black and white. That's bad. Why is it black and white? I want action. I want gunfights. I want fucking
No,
karate.
I mean age rating.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's like a 9+ age rating, but it's got a lot of serious undertones, sexual references.
Yeah, say age rating, not rating.
Yeah, my bad.
That's two different things. I'm sure there's still people who are complaining about the thing. But yeah, then we get Monica Rambeau's mum started sword.
Yeah, so I think she had sword in the event of Captain Marvel or Sword Collapse or Shield Collapse.
Yeah. Do you remember what the thing stands for? It's Sentient Weapon Organization something.
Response Division.
That's the one. Probably.
And then, so the new guy, this new you've got a boss who's going to be bad.
Yeah, I have weird vibes from that dude. He seems bad.
Yeah, so apparently Maria Rambeau appointed him as the acting director.
Because Monica was gone.
Yeah, but he's only acting director.
Yeah, but she's not. She's been put on shitty duty, and she goes to Westview because of a missing persons report.
Yep.
And then she gets to run into dude from Ant-Man 2.
Yeah, his name is Jesse, I believe.
No, it's not
great sound there.
That was my phone dropping on the floor. I think his name's
Jimmy. I'm pretty sure
his name is Randall Park, so that's great.
I'm pretty sure they give him a J, but we'll find out eventually.
Yeah, I will do that. You continue talking.
Yeah, and then they fly the drone in, and then this drone is actually the same drone we saw in
Jimmy Woo. There we go.
I knew it was Jimmy.
Whatever. It's now official. His name is Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, so the drone that they flew in was actually changed into the toy helicopter we saw in episode 2.
Episode 2, that's the one. And also the beekeeper man is a guy in a hazmat suit because the big bubble around her changes everything to make it match the setting.
Yeah.
And we find that out because he goes through the sewer system
and
to
then
get in.
Darcy turned up, which is a great addition.
Yeah, really love that character.
Yeah, and she adds a lot of personality to the show.
Yeah, and she's really invested in the show like everyone else.
She's like, yeah.
Because she finds out that there's background radiation from like the Big Bang concentrated in that area, and it's emitting a signal that only gets picked up on a TV.
From the 1960s, 1970s. Basically, cathode ray.
It's basically the show, but it's coming through as a TV show, and it's coming through on the TV that she sets up.
Yeah. Which, I mean, from our perspective, that's like really odd.
Yeah.
That's like, what? Like, they're watching a show.
Yeah.
That's like, so strange.
They're asking all the questions that we were asking, like, why the fuck is it in black and white? Isn't he dead?
Yeah.
How is he back?
Which is great, you know? Like, we're on the same page.
Yeah. They don't know what's going on either. And then, we still don't know what happened to Hazmat Suit Guy.
I don't really know. I do wonder.
Also, Monica Rambeau, Monica Rambeau gets kicked out, and she's being, like, she's getting all, like, oh, no, wait, that's at the end, because this ends with her being kicked out. Because it's all of the events of episode 1, 2, and 3 take place during this episode, and then it's, like it's happening real time between when it happens. Also, the people at the entrance of the thing don't know that it's Westview. They think it's Eastview, and they don't want to
No, they're from Eastview.
Yeah, but they don't believe Westview exists.
No, which is weird.
And they don't want anyone coming in, and they just turn around and drive back in.
Yeah, which seems to be, I think, got something to do with episode 5, but won't say it just yet. Yeah. So they try to ID everyone in there, so they from the episode they recognize that the people that,
because there's a missing persons report, and then everyone who's been missing is like in Westview, and so they're trying to identify people based on the TV show and people who are turning up as cast characters, and they find Monica Rambeau in there as one of the cast members because she's been cast in the show.
Yeah,
because she gets sucked in basically.
And also there's no ID for Agnes or Dottie.
Yeah, which has led people to speculate that why is there no ID? Because everyone else has an ID, but why? Because we still don't know who the missing person that originally Jimmy Woo was called to find.
No, that is true, and I'm kind of interested now. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because he's there looking for a missing person, and then we don't know who that missing person is because it's not Wanda, because no one knew Wanda was there.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, why is she here? What is she doing here? What's happening? And then those people don't have any IDs, and that's led. Well, we're speculating that those two have an importance.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, what does this mean? And a lot of people are speculating that Agnes is a bad person.
I mean, it could be.
Dottie's a bad person.
But we'll have to wait and see, and it's not really much.
Because a lot of people are referencing the fact that Agnes doesn't, keeps mentioning her husband, and she could be married to the devil, because the devil's in the details. There's a phrase that's used in one of the episodes.
Oh.
And the devil is like Mephisto in Marvel, and he's like a devil, basically. He's like their version of hell, basically.
That's a great theory.
And then if she made a deal with the devil to bring Vision back, you know.
Oh. And then
that's a speculation.
And then the episode kind of ends with the same as episode 3 ending. We kind of see a bit more perspective of actually what happened.
Because at the end of episode 3, it cuts from Wanda being angry, and then you don't see what happens to Monica Rambeau. But in this, you see what from that perspective, and she gets flung out the fucking portal. She goes through every brick wall in that village.
And then she rebuilds the whole village as well. And then to top it off,
and then you see Vision walk back in, and then it looked a bit off when I first saw it because it's background, but it's the same sort of background that they used in episode 3, but it's slightly grayer.
Yeah.
And then you get the reveal with his face is caved in, and it's he starts talking, and it's like, what's going on? And then she resets everything.
And then my initial thought there was, is she puppeteering his dead body?
Yeah.
Which is
also
very dark.
Is she having sex with a dead body?
Possibly.
Is she a necrophiliac?
Yeah. But maybe.
But yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
kind of crazy.
It's a very intriguing episode, and it answers a lot of our questions. Well, doesn't answer. It gives us more questions, but answers some of the questions.
It gives us a lot of generic questions of what happened in the past 3 episodes. It gives a question of why are we here?
It basically asks our questions.
Yeah.
And then we go, well, we're asking these questions. And then it goes, well, yeah, okay, we understand. You're confused. We're also confused. We'll see what goes on, and we'll continue and everything.
Yeah, I did enjoy this episode. It definitely feels like the show is now getting on.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's got
legs now.
It's ramping up. Yeah, it's ramping up. It's like, oh, we're back in the modern MCU. And also, I think they timestamp it as like 3 years, a couple months after the blip, like everyone returning from the blip.
Well, it's just after that, yeah.
Because the MCU is technically 5 years ahead of everything.
The mad thing is, with all this COVID stuff now, it might actually sync up.
Yeah, well, if they keep pushing Black Widow, because every time they push Black Widow, they have to push every other movie.
Well, it was 2023 in game.
Yeah.
So it's only 2 years behind now.
Yeah. We'll find out. But yeah, that's our thoughts on episode 4.
Yeah.
A lot shorter, but we want to get to episode 5.
Because episode 5 is the mad one.
Yeah, we want more answers.
So episode 5 came along.
Yep, episode 5.
And oh my god, I love this episode so much. So
it is a very good episode. I love it. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, so at the start of the show,
it intrigues me for episode 6.
So at the start of episode 5, it actually kind of takes on from episode 3 rather than episode 4.
Yep, we're back in the 1970s at this stage. No,
80s,
1980s.
yes.
1980s.
And then, so Wanda's got her 2 twins. She's trying to stop them crying. And then she's
got one of her twins. Vision's got the other.
Yeah, that's true. But they're both trying to stop them crying. And then there's like a dummy scene, like a little bit of comedy in there. I wasn't a great fan of the comedy in this episode.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. But I did like the fact that he put the dummies in his ears. Oh, they're not used to mute. I'm not meant to use them to mute the children. They're meant to go. That was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's one of the highlight of the comedy of this episode. But this episode wasn't good for the comedy.
This is not the comedy episode.
I don't think there's a lot of serious tones. Anyway, Agnes shows up. Somehow.
In a 90 days workout gear.
Yeah, and then she makes a weird comment. So Vision says, "Oh, don't."
Vision's because she's trying to interact with the twins and put them to sleep. And Vision panics and goes, "Well, he's like a protective father, and he doesn't want anyone to touch them." And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to." And then Agnes, Vision then suddenly slows down and starts it gets really awkward.
Yeah.
And then Agnes goes, "Oh, do you want me to retake my line?"
Yeah, it's like, and Vision was like, "What?"
And he's confused. And then I have the theory that because Agnes isn't from the previous episode isn't got an ID and is probably one of the bad people, that she's telling Wanda to reset.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like, do you want me to reset? Because she's kind of imprinting into Wanda to reset everything, because to create this reality. And she's going, reset this because he's questioning things, so reset it so that you can continue this fantasy.
I mean, I sort of get where you're coming from, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is right, but I don't think it is.
What do you think it is then?
I think it's still Wanda controlling it. I think Wanda's still controlling her, and I think maybe if it was your theory, I think it's someone controlling it through Wanda, and someone's talking through Wanda. I don't think it's actually her. I don't think Agnes is the actual person. But I could be wrong. We'll wait and see. It doesn't matter.
Because she's always turning up when Wanda needs something to break, fix the reality that she's creating. So I think it's her stepping in to fix Wanda's reality and help Wanda reset everything and make it play into her reality that it's all fixable.
Yeah, once again, I won't be surprised, but I just don't think it is.
And then we get the kids randomly growing up.
Yeah, that was weird. Didn't expect that.
Because she's like, oh, do they have to cry all the time? And then it's like, oh, we're just now 7 years old or 8 years old. 5? Really?
It was
They
5.
did not look 5.
They're meant to be 5.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure there's a comment in there saying they're 5 years old.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Those
But
kids were
the
alright
weird
as
thing
actors.
is, Agnes doesn't care.
Yeah, that's the thing, because she's like, oh, you could probably show Vision your real form if you wanted to as well.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a comment. It's like,
All of a sudden,
that's later.
because the first 3 episodes is all about Wanda and
They're all-
Vision trying to blend in.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like, Wanda doesn't care.
Wanda doesn't want to have to hide anymore. At least
Yeah.
she's sort of breaking her. I want to have everything hidden away.
Yeah. And then we had the 80s intro.
Yeah.
Not my favourite one.
Didn't really love it. No, I really didn't like this one.
I think my favourite is sort of the 60s. The
I like the one
WandaVision.
with the bicycle.
WandaVision.
I like the bicycle one. I think that was episode.
Yeah.
I don't really care this much about this one.
And
I
then,
think it's just because it was the weird baby photo of Vision.
yeah, that was. I was like, what?
That Disney loves making baby versions of characters that are popular. And it's like, and now I imagine it's going to be Baby Yoda, Baby Groot, and Baby Vision, all just paired up as the cutest baby versions of
That's so
shit.
weird.
And I'm just going to be like, no. It's like, no. Also, the kids, I don't like the kid photos and stuff. They freak me the fuck out because they're like bug-eyed kids, and I'm like, I don't like kids. Kids freak me the fuck out.
Anyway, after that, we jump to the outside world again.
Yeah, so we're now not doing one episode in the real world, one episode in the fantasy world, which I thought was going to happen. They're actually cutting between the two now. That's actually...
I think I prefer that now.
Yeah, I don't think you could go back to having just fantasy.
No, it wouldn't work.
No, you have to have the reality. But yeah, we go back to the reality, and it's Monica Rambeau getting a CAT scan or something similar to a CAT scan.
Yeah, something.
Where it's like reading her brainwave. Which apparently come back as blank, so I want to know if that's something.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe somehow Wanda's changed something?
Yeah. Wanda's wiped that event from reality.
Yeah.
At least in her brainwaves, but then she still remembers.
Very weird, very strange. Rambeau's given a bit of a monologue, sort of what happened and what she thought of the events. And then the acting director wants to kill Wanda because she thinks she's a terrorist. Yeah,
because he's having a conversation with Jimmy Woo, and Jimmy Woo's going, it's all good. We've just kind of found Wanda. We're like, here's Wanda and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then he's going, well, this person basically recounting the Sokovia Accords and stuff, and she broke the Accords because we find out that Wanda broke into a sword facility to break Vision's decapitated corpse.
Yeah.
I imagine, because that was the thing, because Vision's body is like all scattered over the place, and it's not like that solid chunk.
That was so strange. I really thought it was going to be a solid chunk, but so no.
Yeah, because it's not Vision's body as in what we saw in episode 3, where it's like the crushed head.
Do you think
there's no head? It's just the torso. It's all the limbs split apart and everything.
Do you think they're trying to harvest the vibranium?
That's what I imagine.
And then maybe Wanda got really pissed at that.
Yeah, because I imagine it's like, well, you're dissecting my boyfriend.
Maybe that's what triggered her to do this. It's like, you are doing this horrible thing.
Yeah, even though apparently in his will, Vision had a will and stated that he didn't want to come back from the dead or like have his body used for anything. So
yeah,
it's an interesting.
I mean, and then we jump back into the actual TV show again. The kids get a dog, which is another weird moment.
Yeah, I think they just wanted something to like break the reality again, and it's like, well, you want a dog? Well, you have to be 10 years old, and then they age up to 10 years old. And
then, of course, Agnes turns up again because she was
and also sees the kids growing up, because she brings a doghouse, and it's like just at the perfect moment that she just turns up with a doghouse when they decide to have the dog, and Vision's skeptical of it.
Yeah, just questioning like, why does Agnes keep turning up when you need her to?
Which is why I think my theory is pretty solid, because she turns up when Wanda needs reality to be fixed, or have some sort of reality.
Yeah,
and she's there to fix it. So,
what do you make of the sort of animations of the kids growing up?
Weird. It's kind of that just morphing, stretching.
Yeah, it's like, what? I mean, of course, there must be different actors. But
I think they're using it that bad because it's 1980s, so they're using 1980s like transition
Yeah.
technology. I imagine that I'm gonna give them a pass on it because it's like 1980s transition.
Very weird.
Okay. Well, so I prefer. I don't know why. I didn't like the 10-year-old versions. The 10-year-old versions piss me off.
Nah, because they're 10 years old. All kids 10 years old would piss you off.
I don't think a 10-year-old should wear over.
It's back in 1980s. Anyway, we jump back.
Also, what do you think of Vision's hair? Because Vision's hair is like a weird blonde wig sort of looking thing, and
Vision's
so
always
weird.
had weird hair in every episode.
Yeah, I know. But it's weird. Like, his hair just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
Anyway, so back in the open world again.
Yep, back in the real world.
Yeah. So Rambo wants to go back in to investigate it. Everyone's like,
yes.
Well, "Why don't you do that for? You're an idiot."
Well, they're trying to find out if they can go back in without getting affected by Wanda.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you go in, you act like you're in Wanda's reality. And then they discover that the outfit that Monica gets sent back out in, when she gets pushed through the portal again, is the outfit that she was wearing, but it's changed its look. But it's still the same thing, because it's still made of Kevlar, because she was wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
And it had Kevlar on it.
Which is really interesting.
And then they scan the item, and they'll scan the clothes, and it's got Kevlar, but it looks different. So it's still Kevlar, but it looks different. Wait for your dog to shut the fuck up.
Shut up!
And then we cut to... And then it's like old tech stays without... Because it's changing the reality, but if it's new, it changes, but if it's old, it stays the same, because it doesn't need to be changed to fit the reality.
Yeah.
So if they send something in from the 1980s, it won't change, essentially.
That's the idea.
So then we cut to back into the fantasy reality with Vision at his workplace again, and they've just upgraded to computers.
Yeah, and this was another weird scene that just happened. I was like, what is happening?
And so Vision's friend Norm is talking about emails, and they send an email to Vision. At least I think they do. And it's like telling them...
Was that like one of the first emails that was sent? No, in the first episodes.
I don't think they... Maybe they sent an email. I remember if they sent an email
that
episode.
I thought that was like getting hijacked off another network. Of like maybe the email is to Darcy or something.
Maybe. Do you remember in episode 4 if they sent an email?
I'm pretty sure there's reference to an email at some point.
Maybe.
Maybe not into the thing, but I'm pretty sure... I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but then everyone in the office starts laughing, going, "Oh, that's hilarious," even though it's kind of serious and it's telling Vision. Or like people that Wanda is basically controlling the reality. And then Vision forces Norm out of his sort of in-trance state, and he starts panicking, and he's looking for his wife, and trying to get his phone and everything, but he can't, and then Vision has to snap him back into it.
Yeah, just so he comes back to... It's weird that he can do that all of a sudden.
Well, he has mind powers.
That's true, he does have the Mind Stone, but the Mind Stone doesn't exist anymore, but yeah.
But it's also Wanda's reality, so he probably still has the powers, because he can still fly.
Do you think Wanda can create the Mind Stone?
I think she can create the reality that the Mind Stone still exists.
Which is weird, because the Mind Stone, not a reality stone, but...
Yeah, but she can create the reality that it still exists, or he still thinks it exists.
Yeah.
So she creates the reality that she's snapping him out, maybe. I don't know. Or
yeah.
Maybe if he believes that it happens, he can make it happen without Wanda knowing, because Wanda isn't aware of the fact that he snaps Norm out when he confronts her about it.
That's true.
And then we go after that, and Vision has a panic look on his face, and he's like, ah. And then we cut back to the dog and the family.
Yeah.
And then
the dog leaves at some point. Oh no, that's later on.
They mention the fact that there's like, oh, why is Daddy not here? And it's like Saturday, and she's probably messed up the dates because she's been worried, and she sends Vision to work, but it's a Saturday, so why would he be working? So she has to make an excuse. And then she's talking about twins, and the kids ask, "Did you have a sibling?"
Yeah, and she's like, "Yes."
And yes, Pietro. And then some banging starts happening, and then the dog gets all worked up, and they go out, and then it's a drone, and then Wanda Like they send in a drone from like the 1980s.
Yeah, and then Rambo tries to talk to her.
Yeah.
And then Wanda's eyes start glowing red.
Well, the director says to fire on her.
Yeah, and then
because there's apparently a missile in it.
I'm pretty sure
then
there was an explosion sound.
I don't think so.
I thought there was. I might be wrong. Could be. I'll have to.
No, I think it's her breaking the static on, like crushing the drone or
something like that.
Like stopping the feed because they're tracking. They have a camera on it and they're tracking the feed of so that they can see the reality.
And then probably the second most maddest part of this episode, Wanda actually leaves the town and confronts Sword,
and has her Scarlet Witch outfit on,
which I was so
not her like comic book
confused.
Yeah, she comes out, threatens them, like gets guns pointed on her with laser sights pointed at her.
She just doesn't care.
She's all pissed. Monica Rambeau tries to talk to her, has like a heart to heart, and basically Wanda's not having any of it.
And Wanda gets her accent back as well. She has an accent back.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because that means she's putting it on when she's in trying to fit in with people. So she's that because everyone had like a weird thing. It's like, oh, she loses her accent in Age of Ultron and Civil War and Infinity War and all of that, and it's like, well, yeah, she's trying to fit in with people, and then when she doesn't want to fit in with people, she's bringing her accent back. So that's a nice way of bringing the accent that people had a problem with.
Yeah,
back into like an actual explanation. She's putting it on, try and fit in, and then she mind controls all of the people putting guns on her to fire, like maybe shoot at the director of Sword.
Yeah,
and
then that's when we see actual good visual effects.
Yeah, and then she re-enters the world.
Yeah, but kind of a weird way she did it. It's like kind of breaking it open,
stretches open the reality of the bubble.
Which is kind of weird. Because, maybe Wanda's not actually created this reality. Maybe she's just keeping everyone in it.
But then we get an ad for Lagos paper towels.
Yeah.
Like in the vein of those bounty ads where it's like, your paper towels suck. Buy our ones. They absorb more shit. And your husband's a klutz. And it's called Lagos. And Lagos is the event of where WandaVision... where Wanda blows up the embassy for Wakanda. When in Captain America Civil War.
And in Marvel Comics, it's also a location of anti-mutant research lab.
Yeah, so
hint.
Some more hinties.
Yeah.
And then because the dog runs away and the kids run after it before all of the events with Wanda coming and dragging the drone out and stuff. And then the dog is found. The kids are looking for the dog. And then Agnes finds the dog in a bush, dead.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I think this is the one moment I think that you could be right with.
Yeah. And then Wanda's like, oh, well, sadly. And then the kids are like, well, you can bring people back from the dead, bring our dog back. And she's like, no, don't cheat it. Don't cheat reality.
Basically hinting at her being Vision back to life.
Yeah, because the kids want to grow up so they don't have to deal with the emotional pain of having a dead dog.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, kids, don't do that. But Mom, you can bring everything back from the dead. And then Vision turns up, and then they have a big old argument about why is this happening? You're creating this reality. What the hell are you doing? This is wrong. And then they both fly up at each other.
And then there's the great line of, I don't remember anything before Westview.
Yeah.
Which, that is the line that makes me think, what if Vision she actually has brought Vision back to life again? Because if think about it, if he ripped out the Mind Stone.
Well, that's his mind.
Yeah, it's his mind. But if you rebuilt him, then he wouldn't have any memories other than what she gave him. So he could actually still be alive.
No, it would be implanted memories. It wouldn't be an actual life.
It would be actually lively him, but I don't know.
It'd be a robot with implanted. It's like Vision was sentient, and he's now not sentient. He's just
a robot.
And maybe he's becoming sentient again.
Maybe.
But then your favourite moment, I guess.
I love this moment because I wasn't expecting it. I know you kind of had a spoiled it for you.
Yeah. Because I saw the cast list.
So there's a knocking on the door, which normally you'd assume is Agnes, because that's happened so many other times.
Yeah.
And then Vision says, you're controlling this. And then Wanda goes, I swear I'm not. And then it turns out...
goes, like, statistically, this is probably you controlling it.
Yeah. And then she opens the door.
It's a guy's head from behind.
White hair, stick back. My initial thought, was it could be Captain America. But I was like, that's
and when
stupid.
Dan told me this, I was like, that's stupid. Why would they bring...
But it could look like it from behind.
I told Dan the only reason why that would work is because they wanted to send something old back in to get her. Because the only things from the past can go in without getting affected.
And then the big reveal was it was actually the Pietro from X-Men.
X-Men.
So
and then Darcy has the lovely comment of going, wait, she recast Pietro?
I was like, what? I didn't see this coming.
Also, he's got like an accent. He's got like a...
Like New York, and it's like, hey!
Yeah, New York, hey, I'm walking here, sort of accent.
Yeah.
Which isn't his accent from version.
Well, she's probably still adding him into the TV show.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna... This leaves so many questions.
I know, and I love this episode. Boy, it's such a good episode.
Are they gonna have him back as the X-Men version?
I think they would.
And they're not gonna bring back other boy.
I think they will.
Matey boy.
Because this is the.
I hope they do, because I like that version. I don't like the X-Men version.
Well, unfortunately, you're in the minority for that one.
Yeah, I know, but everyone's like, "Oh, those Quicksilver scenes in X-Men."
Yeah, the scenes were cool.
No, they weren't.
They were cool.
I don't like any. No, they were fine. The one in the mansion sucks.
The first one. The first one was good.
The first one's fine. It's not good.
It's cool.
It's fine. It's not. It's so overhyped. It's fine.
Mr. Complaining over here.
Also, no, all they do is they do them for that one scene, and then they're like, "Oh well, we could use you in every other situation, and you'd basically break the thing. We're just gonna send you back home. We don't need you anymore." And it's like,
right.
And then in Apocalypse, they have to cripple him, and Dark Phoenix, they have to cripple him, and it's like, well, okay, you want to just cripple him because you don't want to do the fast scenes.
Right. Let's stop complaining about X-Men. It's not about that. What did you find?
It is, because they want to bring him over. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Can't wait for episode 6.
And episode 6 is happening right now.
Episode 6!
Yay! I've basically forgotten what we did in episode 5.
Yeah, but this episode 6 is the Halloween special, and
that happens in February.
Yep, because this was probably meant to come out a lot sooner than it did.
Yeah,
because they had to push everything back, so it's probably gonna come out around October. But whatever, we gotta move on past that because it's Malcolm in the Middle, baby.
Whoa, another show I've never seen before.
Yeah, but yeah, this is early 2000s, I guess. They kind of skipped over the 90s.
But it's not Malcolm Middle, late 90s as well?
No, 2000s.
Yeah, okay.
I think people said that like the 1980s and 1990s were kind of like mixed together in that episode of episode 5.
Right. Fair enough.
Because I think those were the television shows that transcended over decades. So,
yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, we get more Pietro. More of old Quicksilver from the X-Men, not
the one you don't like.
I don't hate him, I just don't think his scenes are very good and make no sense in those movies, and they don't utilize him well. They have him for one scene, and then he fucks off, and then they bring him back for another scene that totally undercuts the entire situation, because there's a character who dies, and they play it off as just and also that scene is terrible.
Anyway, we're not here for you to rant about X-Men.
No, we're here to talk about WandaVision, episode 6. But yeah, they're doing Halloween, and then Wanda and Vision have their classic outfits. Wanda is a Sokovian witch.
Fortune teller,
and Vision is a Mexican wrestler.
And people got offended by that.
Fake controversy. Someone said it, and then everyone went, no, that's stupid. And then...
It is stupid.
Yeah. And then... I think, and the kids are wearing, like, the Quicksilver's wearing his classic costume.
Yeah, and then the
kid doesn't wear his...
I don't remember his superhero name.
Speed, I think it's just Speed. Well, Speed, like Wicket. I know one of them's Wiccan.
Oh, yeah, Wiccan.
Wiccan is the... I don't care. Look... This is more just a recap of what happens and our thoughts on what happens, not a in-depth analysis of all the stuff that every comic book and all the characters and everything. They're called Billy and Tommy. That's as much as we're going to refer to them as, and we may get them confused.
It's a very bad influence on the kids as well.
Yeah, he's like Malcolm. Well, you've never watched it, but they're like Malcolm and Reese's brother Francis is like the bad influence on them, but also
Ah.
over the course of it gets better and better because he's like the older brother who's goes to jail a lot or joins the army and everything, gets like sent to military camp, and yeah, just because it's an interesting way because it's very reminiscent. The title sequence and everything is all very reminiscent of that.
But of course, not everything is as it seems.
No, because why would it be in this TV show?
Nah, do you know what? It's all in their minds. This is all normal. This is the actual MCU.
But yeah, this we then get. I think it cuts to the outside world where we get to see what the ramifications to the last event are, where they want they want Wanda dead because she came out and went, "Hey, no, leave us alone. We don't want you."
Yeah, and she got really pissed off at it. I was like,
and made the director have guns pointed at him, so he's very angry. He doesn't
basically said, "I'm more powerful than you. I will come at you if I have to."
Yeah, and then Monica gets taken off the case.
Because she got implications.
She's trying to say that it's Wanda's going through a lot of stuff, and maybe don't antagonize her and try and reason with her. And
and you don't know that Wanda's causing this.
Yeah, and you can also start to see that the boundary of the hex, like the dome, is becoming more visible, because in the earlier episodes it was less visible.
Yeah.
Because it was like invisible to the naked eye unless you went right up to it and you could see it, and now it's like bright red in the background and you can see it clearly as day.
Interesting. I don't really know why that is. Maybe it's to do with.
I think it's because she's maybe there's we'll get to it, but yeah, there's also a flashback to Wanda's like childhood where it's her and her brother, and there's a fish lady who just gives them a fish when they're going.
However, that's not actually what happened though.
It might be.
Yeah, because Wanda was confused by it. She was like, "What?" It's Pietro that brought it up.
Yeah, I think. But yeah, this is all just leading to like whether or not Pietro is actually her brother, and you kind of have the sort of gist of why she's getting confused by it, but she's also so attached to the idea of having her brother back. She's like, yeah. But then there's also, after we get the Monica and stuff get kicked off, they have a bit of a punch-up, which is always nice. Jimmy Woo, Darcy, and Monica will have a little punch-up with some of the agents who are dragging them off.
Love good old Jimmy Woo. I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp recently as well, to watch Jimmy Woo again.
Yeah. And as we know, he finally managed to pull off the card trick.
Yeah.
So, nice little bit of... He actually did that on the set as well, apparently. That's good. That's not CGI, that's him actually doing it. So he spent like a couple of days learning that. And then it cuts back to they're in the streets with all the children, which is weird because we haven't seen any children. There's been mentions of children.
Yeah, and that's even brought up late in the episode.
Yeah, and it's
he goes, where have you been hiding all these kids to?
Yeah, and then she's talking to Quicksilver, and they're like gonna go do some pranks with Quicksilver, and the kids are gonna go do off some pranks, and then he says kick ass, and if people don't know, both the people who play Quicksilver were in Kick Ass.
I saw that after this episode. I didn't realize at first.
MCU Kick Ass is Kick Ass. MCU Quicksilver is Kick Ass, and then X-Men Quicksilver is Kick Ass's friend. Yeah. So they're both in Kick Ass, and it may be nothing, but it's kind of a nice little plug to go. Well, both these actors were in this movie, and they now both play the same character. So,
I mean, it's WandaVision. The whole show is just filled with things like this.
And then you had a point of Herb does some weird stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, Herb, he makes a comment saying, do you want something changed?
Yeah, and it's kind of like a moment where because she's like, oh, this isn't going as sort of, like they're going off and he wants, do you want it changed and whatnot?
And the only other person to say something like this was Agnes in the last episode.
Yeah. But
where she said, do you want to say the line again?
And then,
so it's kind of interesting.
I think we skipped over this, but Vision was saying that he wanted to go do the neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
And this is like the first time that Wanda's been like, oh, okay, you can go off and do your own thing without like questioning it. And then he's walking around the streets, and then we get like people looping. So they're doing the same action over and over again, and they're not like almost as if they're stuck. And the lady cries as she's trying to put the clothesline, the ghoul or whatever it is, decoration up.
Oh, I thought she was just hanging and washing.
No, but I think she's trying to. I think she's trying to get the. I think she's trying to get the tail of the ghoul to hang up so it looks a bit.
Yeah,
spooky.
she kind of like stuck looping. It keeps putting up and putting down again.
Yeah, and then
also the guy in the background keeps moving a pumpkin back and forth.
Yeah, pumpkin,
which I thought was quite amusing.
And then Vision's kind of creeped out by that and just keeps walking. And then we get a lovely, lovely ad for Yo Magic yogurt.
Yeah, definitely kid friendly. This advert.
Yeah.
Nothing bad about it at all.
Do you want to explain what happens in the advert?
The kid is starving on a desert island, and then a shark comes up and goes, "Hey kid," like he says a line saying about survivors.
It's
the
treat for survivors, I think.
Yeah, and then the kid tries to open it, but he can't open it, so he just dies and turns into
turns into past and goes like passage of time moves, and his body slowly decays, and he's just a skeleton. And I had the idea, or I saw a bunch of other people have this similar idea, that it's the fact that if Vision leaves Wanda's bubble that she has created, that without the magic, Vision will die.
Yeah,
it's called Yo Magic, and so at the end of the episode, we kind of see maybe this is true. And
here's a weird theory: what if they could condense down the hex and make that the new Mind Stone in his head?
I don't think that would, because that wouldn't be the Mind Stone. That would be the Reality Stone if they did do it.
Yeah, but the hex isn't Reality Stone.
Yeah, no, but the one in his head's not. It's the Mind Stone that's in his head. But if you're going to do it's creating a reality. It's not creating a mind. It's although
if you could localize that reality to Vision.
The theory that I've seen is that when Thanos destroyed the Reality Stones, what he did do instead is he didn't actually destroy them. He just split them up so they're no longer stones. They're just in the fabric of the reality now. They're not a singular...
Ah, that's an interesting theory.
So rather than actually being a solid stone, you can manipulate the reality around you without the stone, unless if you can harness it. And because she's tied to it, she can harness it through the reality. That's what I've theorized and seen maybe talked about. I don't know how many people are speculating on it, because
maybe. Because they can't be created or destroyed, can they? They're pure energy.
Yeah, and also in Endgame they said you can't not have them in your reality. So how did he get rid of them? He maybe didn't destroy them. He made them no longer stones and just a part of the fabric of the reality that no one could get unless they had a tie to it and could manipulate the fabric of reality already, which Wanda can do. So
maybe. That sounds plausible.
Yeah, that's at least my theory. I don't know how many other people speculating on that, but that's my one, and hopefully I'm right.
Yeah, it makes sense, because like the whole hex is like the reality stone.
Yeah, and it's red and it's reality, and she I know she's tied to the Mind Stone, but they're all tied to each other, and if she can harness powers off the Mind Stone, then
yeah, we'll wait and see.
But then we cut back to they're in front of a movie theater, and people have pointed out that the movies showing on the cinema are The Incredibles and The Parent Trap, and The Incredibles Fantastic Four, because
right, yeah.
Everyone says that's the perfect Fantastic Four movie because it is basically The Incredibles. And the Parent Trap is about twins who try and get people together. I think I can't remember what the Parent Trap's about, but it's referencing twins because Pietro's in this episode, and it's like, oh, the twins, long lost twins, find each other. I think that's the point.
Yeah,
and so
of course Pietro also knows that this isn't a real. He knows that Wanda's doing this.
Yeah, and we get like Billy or Tommy, one of them, actually manifests their powers because they whilst Quicksilver's been running them around, they haven't been doing it on their own, and so the Speedy Boy finds out that he can do speedy powers, and then has a big old moment where he just runs around, and he's also dressed like Quicksilver as well.
Yeah, and then we cut back onto the outside of this west view, and Vision's going right to the edge, and everyone's frozen.
Well, they're doing wait, where?
On the very edge of the west view.
Oh, there's a bit before where it's like Darcy and Jimmy Woo and all that are gathering data a bit.
Oh, sorry. Yes, there is. Sorry, I forgot about that bit.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It wasn't that big. All right, yeah, nice to gather data.
It's why it's sort of detailing why the director is kind of looking into Vision, and they're trying to decrypt all the code and everything as to why. And then
and why is the director tracking Vision?
Well, we find out that he is tracking Vision. He's not tracking Wanda, which people speculated that he would be doing, because Wanda is his target, but it turns out maybe it's Vision is his target because we find out that she stole Vision off of them. So why would that be? And then we get to your bit where he's walking around the edge of the town.
Yeah, and everyone's frozen, apart from Agnes, who's not fully frozen.
Well, he unfreezes her.
No,
Yeah.
she's still slowly talking.
Yeah, and then
like rambling on.
And then she reveals that he was dead and was part of the Avengers because he doesn't remember any of that. Because his memories
I think it's basically shocked.
Yeah, his memories are basically being reformed from when Wanda rebuilds him, I guess. And then she just drives off after Vision recloses her mind. And then we find out that Monica Rambeau has a aerospace engineer colleague that she can get in contact with.
Which a lot of people are theorizing that it's Reed Richards from Fantastic Four.
I don't feel like that's the case.
Nah, they haven't even cast Reed Richards yet. So.
Although a lot of people are saying like fan casting is John Krasinski. Also, I think there's been speculation that if the aerospace engineer is someone, it's never going to live up to the expectations, and people are just going to get mad anyway. So it's like, why build it? Because it's
just stop.
There's fan casting, and then if that doesn't happen, people get angry, and it's like, why? There's been no hints that it is. I get teasing stuff, but it's also like, stop building it up in your head.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
And then we get back to Wanda and Pietro having a lovely little discussion about their childhood and what's happening in the world. And Pietro lets slip that he knows how'd you get all these kids here, and why are they? It's nice and convenient that you managed to bring all these kids here when they haven't been seen anywhere else.
Yeah, and then of course I love the line where she says, "What happened to your accent?" And he goes, "What happened to yours?"
Yeah, because she does get it in the last episode where she brings it back, and then when she's talking to all the
she does.
Yeah, and then she's kind of Americanized herself, and then it cuts to Quicksilver's dead body. But it's this Quicksilver, not MCU Quicksilver,
and has a lot less bullet wounds.
Yeah, I've really wanted someone to like do a comparison between dead MCU Quicksilver's bullet holes if they're in the right places. Because I haven't.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either, but I can't remember. Because why would you pay attention? Because you didn't ever expect this to come back.
But based on how much detail they put into this film, I don't feel like that's something they would gloss over.
No, but it's there's one in his top left shoulder. There's like one in his chest, and then maybe a couple more. But it's like a dark gray, and it's just his blacked out eyes. And then we get Vision going through the hex.
Ooh, and it's like, what's going to happen now? Is he going to
and also,
be free? Is he going to die?
Darcy's been left behind by the other two because she wants to decrypt a file, so that's why she's here. And she sees Vision trying to come out the hex, and all the directors and everything see, all of the sword agents see and he starts
not helping him.
No, and then he starts tearing apart. And also, people have pointed out that his cape is the only thing that's still attached to the hex, the only thing that's keeping him alive.
Ah.
Because if his cape comes out, then he's got nothing attaching him to the hex and he'll disintegrate faster. But because his cape's still attached, he still has a connection to the hex, which keeps him alive.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
I'm
very interested in what's going to happen.
Yeah, and then he starts decaying, and like all of his body is stripping back in. And
he's crying out in pain.
Yeah, and none of the directors are helping, and then they handcuff Darcy to a car.
Yeah, because Darcy wants to help, but she's like, no, you're a prisoner, like, no, whatever.
And then old matey boy, who hasn't shown his powers yet, hears Vision.
Wiccan.
I think Tommy or Billy, one of them.
Oh, obviously.
one of
well
them.
Done.
One of them finds out that Vision's thing, so they run off to find Wanda. And then Wanda expands the bubble after, I think, does she do the bubble and then beat the shit out of Quicksilver? Because
No, she beats up Quicksilver first.
Yeah.
Like, she gets annoyed because Quicksilver makes the comment of, your husband can't die twice.
Yeah, and then basically breaking the reality over her, or like the cloud of disjudgment over her. And then basically she expands the bubble, and everyone who's at sword basically gets trapped and turned into clowns, which is
a whole circus, and then like things circling like hot air balloons, and clown cars, the whole circus.
Except for the director who manages to get away, and also Monica and Jimmy Woo who managed to drive away in their car
because they left ages ago.
Yeah, they left a while ago, But the director somehow manages to get away, even though that
Only just, though.
Yeah, just. I think the car is just on the precipice of getting sucked in.
Yeah, it did start getting sucked in. There was like the moment it was touching.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the end, and then it just cuts back to Wanda's eyes, and then
which is people reference that's the moment where she's now become the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and then that's it. Just the end credits, and no.
And it's like, oh, it's a whole lot of stuff in this episode.
Yeah, a lot of ramifications, and Agnes is also in the intro I've just spotted as well. Like she's with the kids.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
So it's like, why is she with the kids? Just half.
And I'm pretty sure it said naughty on her ass.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
I'm not looking there, Dan.
It was sparkly, all right. I can't. I was looking.
Yeah. But yeah,
and
that's off. Do you have any speculations? Do you have any ideas of what's going on? Do you have any?
I have no idea what's happening. I mean, I still think that the director's somehow involved in this whole thing.
Yeah, I want to know what.
Yeah, very interesting there. I wonder what. I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. Gave me a lot of. It gave me a lot of questions to ask, and also answered some of the questions.
I still think I preferred last week's episode because my favorite scene of the whole series so far is when Vision and Wanda were going at each other. That whole argument. That's my favorite scene.
What, where they rise off the ground and then...
Yeah, and then he has like that really kind of emotional moment. It's like, I don't remember who I am.
Yeah.
I love that scene. That was my favorite scene so far. But yeah, I thought it was a good episode, and I look forward to the next episode.
Yeah. We'll see you in a few seconds.
And about the next episode.
Episode 7, everybody.
And please, I'm just leaving my house.
What have you been doing, Dan?
Oh, not my house, but my neighborhood. I can see police just putting things down doors and stuff.
Right. Anyway.
I've got a cup of tea.
Wonderful. WandaVision. That's the most relevant point. It starts with Wanda waking up with hexagonal duvet covers.
I didn't notice that.
I spotted that because I was like, oh, they're kind of hexagonal shaped, and then it's like, yeah. And then we get the
everything's hexagonal on this living show.
And then she breaks the fourth wall, aptly titled because the episode is called "Breaking the Fourth Wall."
Yeah, I mean it's like the Modern Family style.
And The
sitcoms.
Office as well. People have pointed out The Office. Any show where they talk to the camera is like a documentary style thing. And then the kids come into the room and asking if they can help her because everything's starting to glitch and the console controllers that they're playing start changing.
I like that scene.
And it starts as like a Nintendo console controller, and then it goes to a
Wii.
No, it starts as a I think
a Switch.
I don't think it's a Switch. I think it's like maybe a Nintendo Wii. Then it goes to something else. I'm gonna pop the scene up.
At some point, it goes to Uno cards.
Yeah,
favorite card game of all time.
I do enjoy Uno. Yeah, it's very strange, and everything's happening, and she doesn't care. She's like, I just want to be left alone. I just want to have a day to myself. Yeah, N64, and then it goes to an Atari. Then it goes to Uno, and then they're very
a lot of
confused.
glitching.
Yeah, I have those controllers, like the Atari one.
I just have the Wii one.
I have the Atari.
And then on the outside world, they're setting up a new new sword base.
Yeah, 8 miles out, so you know how much she's grown it. 8 miles outside of Westview.
Yeah, it's massive.
She's expanded 8 miles.
And also the actual dome of hexagons is now really visible.
Yeah, you didn't spot that at first, or did you?
No, I did notice at first. But yeah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, they're the hexagons.
Yeah, and you, because I think that's the first time you see a wide shot where you can actually start to see the hexagonal shape of them. Also,
yeah, because this new sword base isn't right next to the hex. It's like really far out from it because you don't want to get sucked in again.
Yeah, it's quite a few miles. It's a couple miles away, but the actual dome is also. Then we missed the title sequence where it's going, and it's just all Wanda. It's just all Wanda.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's like suddenly Vision's not kind of
also
part of this show.
We did skip over this, but the milk carton has a picture of a missing kid when it's changing.
I did notice that, but I couldn't figure out who it was.
People are either speculating it's the missing person report that Jimmy Woo is maybe investigating.
Maybe.
Because we still haven't found that character that Jimmy Woo was investigating as to why he was there in Westview. So maybe the missing person report is that. And also the cereal that she used is called Sugar Snaps, and people are thinking that refers to the snap that Thanos did.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? There's so many references to everything in the show. They intentionally make it confusing like this.
Yeah.
People to think about.
That's good television. It makes you invested. But then we get Vision waking up after being saved by Wanda in the last episode.
Yeah. And of course he's in the circus, where everything else turned to a circus.
Yeah, and he runs into Darcy, who
for the first time,
who's under the influence of the Hex, because
of course, because why wouldn't she be? She's in the Hex now.
Yeah, and she's an escape artist. So, but the question is, does she have powers? Because it was referenced that Monica Rambeau is getting powers. So would she get powers similar, or is she just going to be standardized?
It seems you only get powers if you go through the Hex twice.
Maybe. But yeah, also a nice little thing is that the dude who then goes up to Vision and asks him to go and do his job is also the dude who gave Darcy her TV
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, someone pointed that out to me, and I was just like, oh, that's kind of neat. That means that they are all literally the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that were there.
I mean, it is all of them.
Yeah.
It's the whole team.
It's a vast majority of them. Because it does cut back when it shows the director and everything. There are a couple people there and stuff still there, but yeah, they're all in a circus, and he's like a strong man, I think. And then Darcy also cuts to the camera and does like, oh, why is this dude trying to date me and whatnot? Because she thinks that he's trying to ask her out, which I thought was a bit weird. Because none of what he was saying was like, I want to ask you out, sort of thing. But then she does the
that's the comedy behind it, isn't it? Like,
yeah. But then she does the magic trick where she breaks out of the chains that she's in,
which is interesting because last time she was just handcuffed and they turned into whole chains.
Yeah. And then we go back to Wanda and the kids, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, just leave me alone, I don't have answers. The kids are asking about their dad, and she's like, well, if he doesn't want to come back, he doesn't have to, sort of implying that she has lost control of Vision and he's got free will again.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Because she can't force him back anymore. Or she's regretting forcing him. She feels like it's wrong. And then we get her talking to the camera again, like just a case of the Mondays. And then Agnes turns up and takes the kids.
Of course, she always turns up.
She always turns up at the right moment. And then she's like, I'll help you take the kids. And then Wanda just lets her take the kids.
Also, she's like, yes, I finally got free time to myself.
Also, someone pointed this out to me. She tries to show Wanda a wart or something.
It was a mole.
A mole or something. And apparently, like, in the witch trials or stuff, that a mole or an imperfect part of your body was, like, used as a determining factor of, like, witches.
Oh.
So yeah, that was maybe a little subtle plug that maybe future events in this episode might reveal themselves.
I mean, people who've seen this, they know what happens in the episode, by the way. You don't have to keep
I like just coaxing people. We're not doing full spoilers. We're doing spoiler-ish.
Not watch this alongside the episode.
But yeah, spoilers. Agnes is the bad guy, or potential bad guy. She's basically kidnapped the kids, and then...
I don't think she's the full bad guy, but...
No, but do you want to go, and then do you want to still just do it in order, or do you want to just jump about a bit?
We'll just jump about a bit. Just talk about the moments that you actually kind of find, like, actually very interesting.
Well, Vision gets his own scene where he's talking to the camera, and he's like, I think Wanda is trying to stop us because Darcy and Vision snaps Darcy out of the thing because he's shown to be able to do that. And then Darcy's like, oh, well, you got to go and get Wanda and come along and we'll just get out of here. And then they're getting stopped at traffic lights and all of like these...
I don't think it's Wanda stopping her.
No, but the Vision thinks it is because he's like, she doesn't want me to come home, but I don't know why. And it's like, why am I doing an interview? I need to be going. And then just zips out the phases through the top of the van and then just goes. And we don't know.
That's the last we see
That's the last we see of him in this episode. And Darcy's like, oh yeah, I'll just get on my way then. And then,
very quickly, do you think last episode, when Vision left the Hex, do you think Agnes was trying to make him leave the Hex and not come back in?
I don't know.
Because Agnes was talking to him, and he was going to leave anyway, but by her saying, maybe she wanted to get him out. Maybe it's her wanting to get Vision out of the Hex.
Maybe. I don't know what her plan is. I'm sure it'll get revealed.
Maybe it's to do with taking Wanda's powers or something.
Because she's very Yeah, people have said that, but you pointed out that the book that she's got, because there's obviously a book, might be the
Darkhold,
Darkhold,
which is supposedly like the most powerful book in
which has
Marvel.
also turned up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it looks very different.
Yeah, that's because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have effects.
Before Disney pumped all their money into television, they had the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of that. Like the Netflix.
But that was a prop.
Yeah. And it
no,
had...
This one's CGI.
Or bits and pieces are. It's probably enhanced with CGI. Like, I'm sure it's still a prop that they've just put little lights.
I reckon it could be. The thing is, people are speculating it's not the same Darkhold, it's a Darkhold from another reality.
Potentially. But speaking of other realities, the ad for this episode was the Nexus of Depression, or whatever it was. It's like a pill.
Yeah, which is definitely like a modern American advert.
and so we Googled it prior to this episode, and we went, it's either referring to Wanda herself as a nexus of realities, or it's a reality, like a load of different realities that could happen.
Well, the whole meaning of Nexus is like everything combining into one. So it's the same reason in Age of Ultron they talked about the Nexus, which was the global data hub, which all the data passed through the Nexus.
Did you want to mention your theory that it might be Ultron?
I think Ultron's involved in this, because James Spader is in the casting list.
Is he?
He's in the casting list somewhere.
Maybe he just does a voice.
Yeah, but it's like, it could be a flashback or something else. The director wants to rebuild Vision,
also,
who was Ultron's body.
Also, everyone's been saying that there's a surprise cameo that no one knows about yet, and it wasn't Quicksilver.
Yeah, like it's like not been leaked apparently.
Yeah,
it's likely Doctor Strange, but I hope it's not.
Yeah, but Paul Bettany did an interview, and it was someone I haven't worked with before, but he did work with James Spader, so maybe not.
Did he work with Doctor Strange? I don't think he did.
No, he would have had maybe because
he did have a scene with Doctor Strange.
No, but he's in the same film, so I'd imagine it's
someone... They filmed it separately.
Yeah. But I mean, it's probably someone not from the universe that we've seen before. So
it'd be great if it's Deadpool, and it probably won't be. But
imagine if it's Deadpool. What are they going to do if it's Deadpool?
It might be.
Well, to be fair, there is precedent because he is jumping around at the end of Deadpool 2.
Yeah, like just at the end, it's like Deadpool just turns up like, "Hey guys,"
because he's turning up at the end of Green Lantern. He's turning up, he's killing Ryan Reynolds, who created the script for. Yeah, I don't even think that he created the script, but
no, he just when he reading the script,
when he read the script, he shot him, and then but he's in different realities, so you could theoretically do Deadpool because it would make sense. But I don't know if Paul Bettany would like to work with Ryan Reynolds. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. He might do. I think it could be Deadpool. I really do.
Oh yeah, we finally find out who that aerospace engineer is, and it's no one.
Yeah, just a NASA employee, because NASA does.
Although
space as
people have said that maybe they're not there, and they're the one who sent it over. So
maybe
there's still potential, but they send like a NASA rover or something that's heavily armored to try and get Monica Rambeau back in.
It has the same density as the Hex.
Yeah, apparently, and then it rams into it, and it starts crashing.
It can't quite get through.
And then it starts, and she has to get out, and she does a bit of a fall when she gets out, bashes about, and then she stands up and goes, "I can get through," and runs through. And you get voices when she's trying to pass through.
It's a mother as well talking, is it not?
Her mum, Captain Marvel, Nick Fury turns up in there, I think. If you turn on the captions, you can actually see who is talking. And so you get a bunch of different voices and everything powering her up, and she gets through, and then her eyes are lit up, so she's now got her powers, which is an interesting thing.
Also, back to Ultron. Ultron was also mentioned in this episode again.
Yes, he was.
So I still think Ultron's involved.
I would love Ultron back, because he's one of my favorite villains in the MCU. Short-lived, but I love him, because if you want to do it, you could technically say that he's on a hard drive somewhere, because Vision locked him out of the internet, but if he's on a hard drive, how are you going to defeat that?
Yeah, he may have done that himself, like as a precaution.
Or people have rampant speculation. They're trying to get the Ultron code out of Vision because Ultron had partly uploaded his code into Vision.
Yeah, of course we true.
So you could, because it was the fact that they stopped Ultron's version getting in it. It was Jarvis's code that got put in as well. So it's a mixture of both. And Vision in Ultron says he is a part of both of them, and he creates himself as Vision. And then if they're just trying to harvest, because they could be revealed to be agents of Hydra.
Yeah.
Whenever I say agents, I want to say Shield. So they could be trying to get that code to recreate an Ultron, or people have said Sentinels, which are the big old things in X-Men.
We'll wait and see. But there's no point having Sentinels yet, unless you have mutants.
No. But I want to talk about when Agnes has the kids, and that kid who, one of them, Billy or Tommy, has the moment, because before he was talking about how loud everything is, and then when he goes to her house, it's all quiet, and he likes it there.
Yeah.
And that always stood out as a bit of a weird thing, because it's like he can't hear anything there. And then Wanda goes there, and she can hear stuff. She can hear like all of the noises that Billy was potentially hearing, because she's got similar powers to him. Or Tommy. I don't know which one's which. I'm guessing Billy, because Billy is the speedster, but maybe not. Who cares?
We also did get a mini fight scene between Wanda and Rambeau.
Yeah, Rambeau. When she finally gets through, she finds not Monica. She finds Wanda.
Yeah.
God, I don't know why this is so confusing for my head. And she talks to her, and Wanda's like, "Get the fuck out of my house again," and then forces her, and then drops her. But she does the superhero landing.
Of course, a cringy landing. That's what you need in your life.
And then Agnes turns up and drags her away. Like Wanda away, like going, "You don't need to be here anymore. You're upsetting her, and go away." Also, people have said that the delivery person who it cuts to has been in all of the episodes as a different delivery person, and so like they've said that why would you introduce someone who you've not seen throughout the episodes? So maybe it's the delivery like there.
There is a chance people are overthinking this.
Yeah. Also, we still don't know what happened to the bee-suit man.
Yeah, that was weird. It just disappeared. You got rewinded and then, like, bye.
Yeah, like, maybe he's in that basement. Maybe the bee-suit man is Mephisto.
I don't think it is, but...
But, yeah, we get Wanda going down into the basement to find the book, and then Agnes reveals herself as Agatha Harkness, and purple magic goes over Wanda's eyes. And Wanda is now maybe under control of her. And then it cuts to like a title sequence where it's all Agnes.
That's Agnes all along.
And it shows her puppeteering Herb. When the magic show's happening, she's like making everyone laugh. And then she there when Vision does her thing, or his thing. And then it's her talking to Wanda in the episodes that are happening now. And then she's like, "I killed the dog as well."
I killed Sparky.
And then it just cuts, I think.
Yeah, and then there was a mid-credit scene.
Which I didn't watch, because you can't set a precedent that there isn't an end credit scene after the credits.
I watched every single credits to wait for it to happen, and I was right, it eventually happened.
This is the only one that I haven't sat through all of the credit sequence, because I was like, oh, it's not going to happen. And then the one that I don't watch, it ends. But people... And then it's Monica Rambeau going around the back of the house, Agnes's house, going to the cellar doors, and then Quicksilver pops up, and then it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but the purple magic goes around her eyes, or her eyes aren't blue anymore; they're purple.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
like her eyes aren't blue; they're purple.
Huh.
So, and also,
weird.
Like Snooper's gonna snoop is what Quicksilver says.
Also, do you think Wanda's not actually controlling everyone? Do you reckon it's actually Agatha Harkness? And then she's making them believe it's Wanda?
Potentially. But yeah, I just want to talk about the fact that her eyes are now purple. Because it's been shown that her eyes are blue when she's super powering up. But I don't know whether or not because it also shows that Agatha is controlling Quicksilver in that reveal scene. So I want to know...
still think it's actually Quicksilver.
Well, I thought that when Wanda blows him up in the last episode, like shoots him across the thing, and then he's snapped out of it now. He's no longer controlled by Agatha, and he's also trying to figure out what's happening.
Yeah, I reckon it is actual Quicksilver.
But I still want to know why her eyes are purple. Is she... Because she's got a confused expression on her face, and she's like, what's going on? And then it just...
her vision is purple and blue. It might just be a kind of a...
Yeah, but it's specifically shown that Agatha's powers are, like, purple. Like, she specifically goes for Wanda's eyes, and they're purple. But they are slightly pinkish purple, so maybe...
It might not be.
It's a darker purple, but it's pinkish purple for Agatha's powers, and then this is purple. But there's also weird, like, tentacle vines that are purple glowing in the cellar door.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see for next episode.
Yeah.
Only thing I want to ask you, do you think Mephisto is in the series?
Potentially. I've heard the rumor that Baron Mordo from Doctor Strange, because he's going around hunting sorcerers.
Yeah.
So he might be working with Agatha to create this to get rid of all the sorcerers, potentially. Because they've said that it's someone... Why would you bring up Mephisto when you've set you've set groundwork, and it's like the devil's in the details and all of that. But if you wanted to bring it back to because it's also going to tie into Doctor Strange, and we don't know what the plot of Doctor Strange is. It's going to be a load of multiverses, so maybe it's Baron Mordo going around multiverses trying to kill sorcerers, and he needs Wanda's powers to do that. Who knows? But
people think Doctor Strange might turn up in this series to get the book back.
Maybe, because I would imagine it's probably one of his artifacts, if anything. And I think people have said that maybe she stole it whilst Endgame was happening in the 5 years between him being smoked.
Yeah.
Because he's left the Earth defenseless, and it's like, well, okay. Because we don't know what happened to his mate from Doctor Strange, that other dude. Wong, that's the one.
He's in Endgame.
Yeah, I know, but so he's still alive. He doesn't get snapped, so maybe Wong gets beaten, and then when Doctor Strange come back, he tells Doctor Strange all of his stuff's been stolen because powerful people have come, and no Sorcerer Supreme was there to defend the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Well, we'll have to wait and see for the next episode, and I'm very excited.
Which
you enjoy
will
this
happen.
episode?
Yeah, I really did enjoy this one. A lot of questions, and now we might finally get some answers.
Yeah, it's definitely it's hyping up now for the end.
Also, to whoever said that the last 3 episodes of WandaVision were going to be an hour long, you fucking liars. Why are you lying?
I doubted it anyway.
I never believed it, but I was just like, why are you lying? Also, people have said that there may be a secret for 10th episode.
There isn't.
There's not going. There might be, but it's probably going to be What's going to be happening is it's probably going to be one of those Mandalorian things where it's like a documentary series on how they made it.
Yeah, that maybe, but it won't be.
It won't be an actual episode, but maybe they'll have hints in that episode. But it won't be an actual episode.
Because like the whole point of saying, it'll be 9 episodes. It's like there's gonna be 9 episodes. So if you just drop a random episode, people aren't gonna be expecting it. They won't be looking for it.
Yeah, they'll have moved on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier that comes out like 2 weeks after.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that show as well.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to say about this episode?
No, that's about it. And episode 8 will happen in 3, 2, 1. And a 1. And a 2. And episode 8!
Yeah! Very different episode.
Yeah.
The previous.
The backstory episode.
Yeah.
Where...
Some people hated this.
Really? I didn't see much hate.
Yeah, I think IGN said like it was a really bad episode and it shouldn't.
Well, it's just the backstory episode. The one that's...
Yeah, no, some people don't like it though, do they?
Well, no one likes filler episodes, and this is just all filler. But this is all like good filler. Because it actually gives you like...
Yeah, it's necessary filler.
Yeah, like... It gives you why it's a sitcom television show. Because Wanda grew up watching sitcoms because her dad was a DVD salesman.
It was also a very emotional episode.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about that, Dan?
Yeah, it was sort of, this time we're not going to go so much a structured approach because we realise it just takes too long. And
it's
kind of a pain.
These.
Yeah. So what's your favourite moment of the episode?
Probably the reveal of the Scarlet Witch bit where she gets her powers. Because, like, with the Mind Stone...
Yeah, because she creates vision, doesn't she?
Yeah, basically Agatha Harkness, or whatever her fucking name is, has gone, hey, Wanda, why are you doing this? How are you doing this? And what was the cause of this? How did you create
She wants this kind of power.
Yeah.
Of being able to control magic, like, just...
Well, she's seen the backstory of Agatha is that a bunch of witches tried to kill her, and then she Uno flip reverse card them, And
that's a great example.
And
actually.
then drained all of their power and killed them. Also, people have said that maybe explains the Yo Magic ad, because it makes them all wrinkly and old when. So maybe I still think it's without WandaVision dies. Without the magic WandaVision dies.
Yeah, I still think it's that as well. But also, talk about adverts very quickly. Sorry, the Stark toaster was revealed to be the bomb that was gonna go off, because they made the beep 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 beep, and they made like a Stark noise. But yeah, that's what it was.
But yeah, we go through like Agatha. Also, I don't think that rabbit that she has is an actual rabbit.
Maybe that's Mephisto. It's a rabbit.
No, but I think it's definitely some sort of creature that she has, because she throws the bird at it, and then it turns into a bug, and then he eats the bug, and it's just like it's like a really like it just manages to and it just seems
like
off.
a rabbit.
No.
Also, because she talks about the transmutation as well, which
and apparently necromancy as well. She says that she was going to reanimate Pietro's body, like real Quicksilver. But she couldn't because it involved necromancy and he had bullet holes in him and it wouldn't have looked right. So she had to just take someone else and put him in.
It kind of revealed that this isn't the actual Pietro from X-Men.
Yeah, but well, it's still
just a
might
random
be,
guy
who looks exactly like it. But we get. Well,
Kevin Feige did say they did it just for fun.
Yeah, they could.
Just
because they now own the rights.
Kevin Feige.
Could
be lying, but yeah.
Speaking of having fun, I'm gonna jump right to the end where the end credit scene is, and evil Vision, potentially.
Yes. Ultron's coming, people.
I have now gone. The person that Paul Bettany has wanting to work with when he was doing that interview and said, "Oh, this person I really want to work with because he's great and we have great chemistry and everything," is himself. Because you know that the inevitability of a Vision having a Vision fight is gonna happen, and so I reckon it's gonna be him talking to himself, and that's why he was happy to there's a surprise cameo, because Vision. It's revealed that Wanda didn't actually steal Vision's body; she created him using the power of the Scarlet Witch and chaos magic, and then. The director edited the footage so that it looked like she was stealing. Yeah. And so, yeah.
It's a great reveal. I didn't actually expect that. Vision, Wanda to have made the body.
Yeah,
I thought it was originally that the director put Vision's body into the hex.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I originally thought that she stole it, and then it was just reanimating the body, because you see it fall apart. But maybe it's just because he was never outside the real world, so there was nothing to keep him there. But the reveal that the dad was like a DVD salesman, and that's why it's like her in times of fear she watches, or times of sadness she watches reality sitcoms.
And the thing I wish they kind of planned this ahead. I mean, nothing bad about WandaVision. It's just I wish they had these hints in Civil War or.
Yeah, I mean, but you kind of get the Civil War, bit, Age of Ultron bit, where they're sitting in the room and Vision phases in and goes, "Hey, I'm awkward. How you doing? I don't know human emotion." That was a nice scene, though, because he's like, what is love without agony, and that's your reason to keep fighting for it, because otherwise it wouldn't be worth it. And then you get the reveal that Wanda has gone to Sword to get the body back. The director has gone, "Hey, look, we're stripping him down. We can't let you just put $3 billion worth of vibranium in the ground." Because she's like, "I just want to bury him. I just want him to have a proper funeral." And they're like,
which is what he deserves, because he is the their hero, even though Elizabeth died to try to save his life.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, I can't feel him, because they call back to that bit in Infinity War where they're doing in the bedroom in Scotland, and it's like, all I feel is you. And then she does that again to him, but because he doesn't have the Mind Stone and he's just dead, she can't feel him, and so she walks away. And then she goes to the Westview, where it's revealed that they were going to grow old together there.
And then, like, so much emotional grief and anguish. I had a tear in my eye at this point as well because it was so sad.
I thought it was a little bit goofy, so I didn't really.
No,
It's just like she goes, and then it just bursts of red energy blow out. And then you see the thing people are saying is that because her magic's red, and then when she creates vision, it's yellow.
Yeah,
like
the Mind Stone.
So it's splitting out. So it's potentially because vision is also the Mind Stone. It's potentially the essence, like the mind of vision was brought back. But
right,
that's
so
all
mind
that
of vision could go into
but
Vision's
the body is now potentially going to be, as you wanted to speculate, Ultron.
I mean, at least think about Ultron's voice.
Yeah.
Because James Spader is in the casting role, supposedly.
Yeah, but they could be throwing us off with that.
They could be. They could be.
Like, we were all speculating that Quicksilver was Quicksilver from X-Men, but it might not just be. It might just be random man.
I mean, who knows? It's Marvel. They turn at every twist and turn. Yeah. Just when you've given up hope on your theory, they twist it back and go, "Oh wait, yeah, no, you were right all along."
Well, I think. Do you reckon they're doing Dark Phoenix but with Scarlet Witch? Because
no,
but I mean, it's the same sort of thing. She's got an entity in her. The Scarlet Witch is an entity.
Yeah.
So this is also everyone turns against them because she goes evil and whatnot. I think that
she is going evil, is she? She's just
no, but I mean, like, everyone perceives her as evil, and like it's like a loss of power. So grief has overstricken her and made her do this thing out of like. So
yeah, but I think it's.
But like, I reckon they're kind of maybe setting up like a similar Dark Phoenix sort of like just to go, hey, look, Fox, we can do this properly because we put it in the backstory to make people care about this character, and then do the reveal of they go like psycho and try to blow up, and I
would like to see Marvel actually do a proper Dark Phoenix.
I reckon we will.
If they're going to do it, they'll probably do like a 2-part film.
They'll definitely have to build a backstory and not introduce the character and then in one film and then immediately do it in the next film.
I think Dark Phoenix is the longest comic book in the whole ever. It's so long. It's like so thick in pages.
Yeah.
Of story. I think the only other one that's long is Secret Wars.
I don't know, but they're all. I think you just need to put the backstory in, like actually make us care about the character, because I didn't care about any of them. But yeah, I just want to know what's the final episode's going to be.
I know. I'm so excited for this now.
Because how long do you reckon it's going to be? Because
I reckon 47 minutes.
This is one of the longest episodes. 41.
I reckon it'll be the same length. People are still speculating there's going to be a 10th episode.
There's not going to be the 10th episode that people think it is going to be that stupid making of it. Like where they show you how it did. But I like the Hydra bit, because what basically Agatha Harkness has put her through a bunch of doors, and she goes and relives moments from her like her past, just to see how she because Agatha thinks she got the powers somehow, and she wants to know how she got the powers. So when you see the moment where the Stark bomb goes off or doesn't go off, and they're under the bed, and Agatha rips her out from under the bed when she's a child and goes, "So you use some sort of magic to stop the bomb from exploding?" And she was just like, "No, it was defective."
Do you think it was her casting a spell or not?
I imagine she has the potential in her, like on X-Men, and then
she did it without knowing.
Yeah. But that sort of thing, and then so she's like, well, because Agatha's like experienced and knows all the magic tricks, and is explaining to Wanda how like she can do all of these things that Wanda can do, but Wanda's doing it on a massive scale with no training or anything, and she doesn't understand how she's doing it.
And also, for the most part, they kept with Agatha's backstory in the comics.
Yeah, like Salem Witch.
The only difference was in the comics, she was burnt like by normal people instead of witches. I think it's because they didn't want to burn her.
Yeah, I think blue laser and purple laser looks less scary to children than big old flames ripping someone apart. Like if you ever watch Castlevania, the Castlevania scene where they burn Dracula's wife is genuinely terrifying, and that's cartoon like fire.
Yeah, I don't blame him for doing that, to be fair. I don't mind this one. It's fine.
It was a little goofy. I mean, just blue lasers shooting and she's going, and then it's just like, yeah, okay, she's gonna Uno reverse card these bitches and drain their energy and get their powers. And then she's like, was that her mum? I think that was her mum.
Yeah, it was her mum, but she was like the witch queen?
Witch coven, and she's like, I just want to be good, and like, no, you can't, and that seems bad parenting. It's just like, well, I want to be good, but I can't.
Well, she can't be good, it's obvious.
Well, I don't know. She doesn't seem to be doing anything malicious in this, though. She's just trying to find out what Wanda is.
I want to know where she's been all this time. What has Agatha done?
Well, she kind of just brushes it off. She's kind of been waiting, like she was, because at the beginning she's kind of like, I've just been waiting around, and then suddenly you come along, and then I have, like, you start doing all of these amazing things without any of the training and whatnot. So like, what are you? Who are you? And then, yeah, we get Hydra, which is always nice to see again. And it's like where it shows the experiments, and she goes into the room. Now, the question is, Dan, do you think that actually happened? Like where she gets the vision, like the actual gem comes out and it goes towards her, and then you get the vision of the Scarlet Witch, and then...
Yes.
Or do you reckon it's all in her head, or she edits it in the footage? Because it shows the two people looking over the footage, and it cuts like it does in the rest of the show, where it like edited footage. So you don't actually see that, or do you reckon it was real? And that
it was real. Like the people in there saw it, but when they were trying to relook at the footage again, then it cut.
No. All they see is her falling over, because they don't understand why she's just on the floor. I think it's real. I don't think they saw it.
I thought they did saw it, and they tried to relook at the footage, and it just disappeared. And
no, like, I don't think they saw it. I think they're just like, why is she just on the floor now? I don't think they see her.
I think they did see it, but yeah, I wouldn't see. I reckon that did actually happen.
I reckon it did happen, but I don't think they saw it. I think it was in her head. Because I don't... Also, this asks the question, what the fuck did Quicksilver see? Like, because she went in first, and so what did he see? What entity was in him? Or what?
Well, that probably just unlocked his powers. He's probably also a mutant.
Yeah.
It's going to be similar to, like Deadpool, like their kind of canon of, they do these experiments to unleash the mutant X gene.
Yeah.
And the Mind Stone clearly has the power to unleash the mutant X gene. Maybe that's actually to do with them, mutants.
I thought maybe Scarlet Witch saved Quicksilver from dying from it. Like, because she goes in first, she can she can give him like sort of protection, and then he gets sort of like the extra, and when he dies, she loses a part of herself. Like, even deepening that thing.
Maybe.
She like extends the power to him, so that
there's a lot we can do to conspiracy this.
Yeah, but that's the greatest thing about these episodes. They're great.
Yeah, but I think we can kind of sum up that it does seem like a lot of these adverts to do with her past. So the Strucker Watch was obviously referencing this.
Hydra, the Tony Stark toaster was referencing the Tony Stark bomb.
Yeah.
Yo Magic, we sort of speculated that it's either Agatha Harkness killing witches, or Wanda without WandaVision dies. And then...
Probably both.
Yeah, probably both. But that's the thing, you don't see like any of the other characters, it's just like Wanda, and so you don't see what happened to Monica, you haven't seen Darcy, you don't see real Vision, you see evil Vision at the end, and you don't see Jimmy Woo, so they've got a lot of stuff to stuff in that last episode.
How bad would it be if they actually do drop 2 episodes on the same day?
It would be interesting, to say the least. We've got a lot more to edit.
You'd be like, no, damn it, it's supposed to come out tonight.
It ruins my editing schedule if they do drop it. But yeah, okay, let's do complete speculation. What do you think the final episode's going to be before it comes out?
Well, it's obviously going to be Vision versus Vision, and then Wanda versus Agatha.
Yeah, because at the end, it's Agatha's got her kids. Like, the kids could just drop down. There's, like, no need to...
Well, the kids don't exist. Like, she did the same thing as Vision. Like, not real.
Yeah, probably. But, like, the kids could just drop down. She's only got, like, a string around their neck, and it's like, just step backwards,
Because Agatha said these were your kids or something.
Yeah.
Because they don't exist in the real world.
Yeah. But yeah, so what would you like to happen? Who do you want the surprise cameo to be if it's not Paul Bettany just saying I really wanted to work with myself?
Well, I think the obvious choice is probably Doctor Strange, but I hope it isn't that. Because I reckon that's just too obvious.
That's obvious, yeah. Do you reckon my Baron Mordo theory, like the enemy of Doctor Strange, is going around hunting witches? Or like
maybe
sorcerers still?
You don't know. I mean, the other thing is like maybe something to do with the book is to do with somehow
because we jump over the book.
Yeah.
We just ignore that book. So, but do you think it's set up that those hexes that stop your magic, do you reckon they'll come into play in the next episode? Like Doctor Strange will maybe set up a hex thing that stops her from being able to use her magic? Or do you reckon Wanda will suddenly just create hexes to stop the magic?
I think Doctor Strange will only come in at the in credit scene. I don't think he'll be a part of anything else.
Okay. Do you reckon the bubble will go willingly, or do you reckon it will just expand more? Like, do you reckon it will expand over the world, and then Doctor Strange will have to come in and sort of talk to Wanda or get Wanda to help fix it later? Or do you reckon the bubble is going to go?
I think the hex could span across everything, and then that is how they're going to create the mutants. Possibly. I reckon that's a way of doing it.
Do you think they'll kill Agatha, or do you reckon they'll imprison Agatha? Do you reckon they'll...
I hope they don't kill Agatha.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't.
Do you think she'll turn good? Because she doesn't...
No.
I don't think she's as evil as I have previously thought. Because she's kind of had a fucked up life, I guess. Tried to get killed by her own parents. But I think... Do you reckon she's being controlled, or do you reckon she's the controller?
I don't think she's evil per se, but I think she does whatever she wants just to help her own self. She does everything in her own self-interest. So I hope they don't kill her, and I reckon she could be a good character to have in a second season of WandaVision. I think they have talked about that. They might have a second season. And I reckon she would definitely be a good one to have in that season, reoccurring.
Yeah. I reckon your theory about Ultron, so maybe just the voice coming back, is definitely a guarantee.
Yeah, I don't feel like it would work as well if it's both Paul Bettany's voices, because it'd be a bit confusing.
Yeah, you'll definitely get but I imagine it'll be definitely maybe James Spader's voice come back, but it'll feel weird coming out of Vision's body.
Yeah, it's still Paul Bettany acting.
yeah, but it will still feel weird because it will be oh, it's Paul Bettany, and Paul Bettany's voice as Jarvis or Vision, and then you go, oh, it's James Spader's Ultron voice in Vision. It feels weird.
I reckon it'd be a nice cameo to have Ultron's voice in Vision.
But yeah. So what do you reckon do you reckon, because it's revealed that in one of the previous episodes that the director is looking for the Vision's body in the hex, like the bubble. But then he has Vision. So why do you reckon he was looking for it? Do you reckon he was thinking, oh, maybe I can get this to put into the body again?
Well, that's what I would have thought, but I don't really know.
Because the way basically the way they've brought Vision back is when Wanda throws the drone at him, it's got the energy of the hex and everything in it, and so they take that energy and put it into the Vision's dead body to give it a power source, basically. So
because you see the Mind Stone to power it, but
so
they get this instead, which is the Mind Stone, essentially.
Yeah, I'm just amazed they managed to get that turnaround on that body so quickly. Because this is only a couple days after the Vision,
that's true. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
The turnaround from that scrapyard that they were working in to how quickly that shiny new robot body is, and the amount of vibranium that it would probably have cost to get. Because he said 3 billion is how much.
3.9 billion or something like that.
Yeah, some ridiculous amount of money that Elon Musk can drop in a day, or a Tony Stark can drop in a day. But yeah. Oh no, Elon Musk is technically in the MCU, so could drop it.
Oh,
Iron Man too. But yeah, I want to know. How do you reckon she's gonna get a kid? Do you reckon the kids will become real, or do you reckon the sad part of? Do you reckon Vision's gonna live?
Fade out of existence.
Do you reckon there'll be a melding of Vision and Vision, and you'll get.
I really
Vision
want Vision to stay alive, whatever way. I want Paul Bettany in there because Paul Bettany's great in this show.
Yeah. However, my theory is he'll die because he's not going to appear in Doctor Strange. So.
Maybe it doesn't need to though. That's the point. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but why you wouldn't then immediately take her away without having Vision? Because she'll be like, I don't want to go with you. I want to spend time with Vision. Yeah. So I don't reckon.
Actually, maybe what they could do is bring a Vision from a multiverse.
Maybe, but I think what's going to happen is Vision's going to die.
Yeah, I
reckon it's going to be the sacrifice that Vision will get in the body, but won't be able to. Like once the hex goes, the body will shut down because he'll get out. Like
unless the hex doesn't. Maybe
I want to know how Monica Rambeau's going to get it because the Quicksilver is definitely under Agatha Christie. I keep saying Agatha Christie. Agatha Harkness is control because she's like she's definitely mind controlled him or got him under her control. And then, like I said in the last episode, her eyes do go purple. So do you reckon she's going to come out and fight Wanda?
I don't think it's actually.
She's gonna get snapped
I don't
out
think those purple is Agatha's control because Monica can see energy going around. So I reckon they're purple because she's watching the purple energy.
Yeah, I don't, because I think
the eyes are.
Maybe, but I think the blue eyes is her using her power. So I would imagine that's how she sees the thing rather than her eyes turning purple. So I think she's being controlled, and then Wanda will probably have to snap her out of it.
Maybe.
Or maybe Doctor Strange will come in. Or maybe Darcy will just run in and...
I really do hope the cameo is not Doctor Strange. I hope it's someone else. It was Tom Holland. It might be Tom Holland.
That would be a weird one to come in. Like, hey, I'm Spider-Man. Just whip a web into her face, and then that's what distracts her that Wanda can just straight up slice her head off. You know, it's just...
I think how else it could be.
Yeah, it's also, why is she driving a Lexus? Like,
people complained about
Audi, man.
People complained saying, why is she driving a car? And I was like, what? Why are you complaining about that?
Yeah, I don't care that much. But it's kind of funny because like every MCU movie has like an Audi in it, and then all the TV shows I think are like Lexus because they're like they're the cheaper option to get for promotion. Like Audi is like...
I didn't even notice it, to be fair. So that's quite a good product placement. I suppose I didn't notice it. So.
It's just kind of a strange moment. It's like driving through a town and you see all the residents.
You
get to see it.
You do indeed.
Except for what's her face? The blonde chick. So do you reckon she might still be the big bad?
There's rumors that she is still like the bad guy or something. But at this point I don't think they might be. I think there might not be a big bad guy.
I'd like there not to be a big bad. I
don't think there is going to be this season. It doesn't feel like...
I reckon what they'll do is they'll have no big bad, but they'll have laid the groundwork to then introduce a big bad.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. I don't think... You can't add a big bad now. It's too late.
Yeah, especially in the last episode. If there's only one episode, stupid rumors of second episodes that are going to fuck my schedule up real bad if they do.
Just ruin everything.
Yeah. Any other moments you want to talk about, Dan, or do you reckon that's about it?
I think that's it. Of course, we saw again the TV show starting again, when they go back to black and white again.
Oh yeah. When once the Vision comes back,
so it's like a full loop, full circle. It's like everything's explained now. I'm really excited for the next episode.
Yeah, I do look forward to it. But yeah,
semi-theories and everything. And then in 2 weeks' time, we've got Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and that won't answer any questions.
No way.
Yeah. But yeah, right. This will now cut immediately to the final episode.
Bang. Stop recording.
Episode 9. Welcome. What a episode. My God.
Yes.
Right. Spoilers. This is a spoiler-filled episode.
Really? Because they already started, the main 8 episodes beforehand.
Yep. However, if you got this far, you were like, why are there spoilers? This is the spoiler warning. Anyway, episode 9. Fuck, they made Wanda's costume look sick.
Yeah.
I'm generally impressed that they managed to make that costume look cool.
It's Marvel. They're good at it. They're good at doing this.
Yeah. Fuck. What do you think so far of the episode? Did you enjoy it?
I was just disappointed it wasn't Ultron. I really wanted it to be Ultron's voice.
Yeah, it was Paul Bettany versus Paul Bettany.
Although it did have I thought it had a hint of Ultron, like kind of tone to it because of the roboticness to it.
Maybe they just put him in the fucking Google search bar things cast list just to throw people off.
Probably. It wouldn't be surprised me. Also, it looks like the cameo was Paul Bettany.
Yeah, I think he confirmed it as well.
Yeah, the cameo was himself. I was like,
what do you think of that? What do you think of the boat conversation? Where if a boat rots and then you replace parts of the boat, and then because I've heard that before, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've heard the broom version. If you keep replacing the head and the handle multiple times, is it the same broom?
Yeah, I've heard that boat one because it's like one of those philosophical questions that they ask you whenever you're just like. But I like how that solved itself, and he just gave it all. So that's the thing. We don't see what happens to that guy after he flies off. He just goes.
Well, he's Vision. He says, "I am Vision." So he is Vision, but just in the comics, he doesn't have a kind of like emotions.
Yeah. But he's now got the memories back, sort of.
He's probably pretty good. He's just not got any emotion.
Well, yeah, but we don't know what happens afterwards. But yeah, so it starts off with Wanda and Agnes having a little bit of a batting, and then, as we said before, Vision, old whitey boy Vision, comes in and starts crushing her skull, I guess.
Like, yeah, that was mad.
Is that really
Game of Thrones style, this is.
I knew it was coming as soon as he walked up to her and then put it.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah. And then not real Vision, Wanda's Vision.
Actual fake Vision.
Yeah, Mind Vision comes in and actually has physical tangibility against real Vision and still has the same power, so that's kind of cool. I don't think he'd be able to fight.
May I also point out that everyone was right about the Darkhold?
Yeah, you and your Darkhold just didn't look like the one from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't have the budget that Disney Plus has.
No. Yeah. But then we see that Monica Rambeau is still trapped in the building with not Quicksilver. What's his name? Ralph Boner.
Yeah,
apparently.
Ralph Boner.
Yeah, I don't know why that was included.
But the fact he still has speed, do you reckon that was Agnes' speed? Or do you reckon he actually has speed?
I think that was the collar thing that was on him. Because he's wearing like some dude bro necklace and it's just kind of like pearls and shit. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm not going to edit out Dan's dog. So if you're annoyed by Dan's dog, I'm sorry, but I want to get this out as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of rushed. We are recording on the same day it's been released, so.
Yep, and it's going to be late. So
sorry, everyone, once again, issues.
Then we get Jimmy Woo getting rocked up on with old matey boy from Sword, who's the chief. And then he's like, what you doing? And grabs the dude's phone and then steals that and does a magic trick to get the cuffs off, like picks the lock.
Yeah, it's like good, good old Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
what's his name? Scott Lang. There we go.
Scott. It is Paul Rudd, but
it is Paul Rudd as well. Do you know when he said quantum? I really thought it's gonna be Ant-Man coming.
Yeah, I really thought he said Cliff, and I thought Cliff Barton. Hawkeye's gonna come in to save the day. Why would Hawkeye come in to save the day?
It said it was just a scroll. I was like, okay, great.
Well, I don't even think it's a scroll. I don't even think the scroll was the person. I think the scroll just took over the person who was meant to be there. Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
It would be interesting because I don't think Jimmy would know that it's a scroll. Oh yeah, scrolls. End credit scene. Monica Rambeau gets taken away, and then a scroll lady changes in front of her and says, "An old friend of your mother's said you're grounded, and then wanted to get you on board," and then points to the sky. So we know where Nick Fury is up to.
Yeah, and this is either going to be the Nick Fury TV show or it's going to be Captain Marvel 2.
Well, I think the Nick Fury TV show is Secret Invasion. So, and I think she is in Captain Marvel 2. So it's going to probably be a combination of both.
Yeah, whichever one's going to happen, it's going to set the other one.
Yeah, and then we're just jumping around now. Wanda's walking around the streets, and then Agnes does the mind thing that all of the citizens are under.
That was a bit creepy.
And then all the citizens are like, what the fuck are you doing, Wanda? Why are you trapping us here? We haven't been eating. We haven't been sleeping.
And then
we haven't been able to hold our kids.
You say the line, if you're going to keep doing this to us, just let us die.
Yeah, and then
what?
She kind of panics and then chokes everyone with like some red.
Yeah, it's like, because she doesn't control her own powers.
Yeah. Which we'll get to at the end credit, because there's 2 end credit scenes.
Woo, actual Marvel ones.
Yeah. And then, Agnes and her are fighting because they're like, hey, what up? I want your powers, basically, because you don't know how to control them, but I do, because I'm a bitch who's read a book called The Darkhold, and then basically explains how she's able to kind of combat Wanda, basically, whilst Vision and everything. I'm not editing them out. I'm not editing them out.
It's just that day, isn't it? It's just not.
And then, we get Vision, laser beaming Vision, and then Wanda's like, "Oh crap! I gotta close the hex," and starts closing it, and then Vision and her kids start disintegrating because they're figments of the reality of Wanda.
Yeah, that's like the hex spell. I don't know what it's called, but.
And then we get and then Agnes is like, yeah, well, if you want to save your kids, you got to kind of keep the thing open. And then old matey boy White Vision comes back into the fight. Because, oh yeah, did you get the bit where Wanda throws the car at her, and then it's
Witches of Oz.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz scene where it's like...
No, witches.
Witches, they're all the same.
Yeah.
And then she throws the car at her and she crashes into the house and then it pans down and it's just her boots.
Here's a quick question. Which witch was that in Wizard of Oz? You got crushed.
Good one.
What was the name?
I don't know. The West one?
It was the East. The Wicked Witch of the West was the sister and was like the main enemy. The Wicked Witch of the East was her sister that got crushed by the bus.
Well, everyone seemed to like it, so why not?
Interesting fact, everybody.
Yeah, and then we get White Vision coming back into the fight to fight normal Mind Vision, and then the kids are left to fight the army, because Wanda goes, well, kids, I'll let you fight the army, and then, we're gonna have a fight up in the sky. And then the kids are left, and then Hayward just straight up tries to shoot kids.
Of course he does, because he's a prick.
But then, Monica Rambeau shows up and gets shot, but her powers are... She can absorb energy, I guess.
So I'm assuming she keeps her powers now. It's not... So it was a form by the Hex, but it's like...
I'd imagine so.
Because it's changed her DNA.
Because she's got a physical reaction and she's not part of the world. So she can leave it and still probably maintain the powers. People have speculated if Darcy gets powers, but she's only gone through it once, so probably
not.
Because she went through it once, then got shot out of it, then went back in, and so she got it 3 times. So maybe if you go through it 3 times, you'll get powers permanently. Yeah. But it's gone now.
Yeah.
And then we get the Vision talking about boats and whatnot, and giving Vision back Vision.
It was definitely a Vision talk to Vision.
I quite like that though, because I was like,
yeah.
I'm kind of bored of them CGIing fighting in the sky, and some of the CGI was a bit clunky in places, like the flying stuff was a bit weird, wonky.
I just have a bit of a problem about White Vision. It just feels kind of almost pointless to the whole story.
Yeah,
it just feels like his only purpose was to fight Vision at the end. Like that.
I think it was just a way to get a Vision back into the real world.
Yeah, that too. But they just to WandaVision, it feels a bit pointless.
Yeah, it's a bit forced, but that's all Marvel stuff. There's always a forced thing that they kind of want to reset, but then come back to. So this is Vision, but without emotion, but kind of now has emotion again.
No, he still doesn't have emotion. That was Vision without memories, and now it's Vision with memories, but still without emotion. In the comics, anyway.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is the same.
Wanda teleported invisible in front of her and then goes up and does the Ultron mind thing where she gets a vision where she implants the thing into Tony Stark and then shows him his worst fear, and then it's Agatha's worst fear.
Yeah,
And then
I thought it was quite cool.
And then it's kind of like Agatha's tied to the tree, and like her family's dead or something around, and then she then turns it back on Wanda. So it's like, oh, you don't know how to control this, I do. So I flip it back on you, and then it's like, you're the Scarlet Witch, and you don't deserve... And then you get the sort of formation of her crown, like tiara thing, like red. And then it's like, I don't have to answer to you. And then she's like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking bash you in the fucking face with all my laser beams. Oh, laser balls. And then she's just like, why the fuck not? And then she's kind of tricking Agatha, because she's got she's shooting because in the previous episode Wanda gets stopped by hexes. She's like hexes that, you know, like stop Wanda's powers, and only the witch that controlled the
it's runes,
hexes.
by the way.
Fuck off. Sure. Okay, who runes whatever I said. Oh,
not hexes. Too many hexes already in this game.
Hexes,
I mean,
so yeah,
TV show,
runes. I know someone who pronounces it ruins.
They're wrong.
Yeah, I know. But she's like, only the witch who controls the runes is the one who can still cast magic. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then just uses that against her in this, because she's just throwing her spells at her hex around it in a contained area.
Yeah,
I mean, well, I own this.
That's quite cool. I did enjoy that kind of reveal. Although that's another event that was a bit forced, I felt.
Yeah, I think they set it up in the last episode, though. It's like, oh, I trapped you in this, and Wanda's learnt from it. It's kind of that use your enemy's spell against them sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's pretty obvious that's what they were going to do when they had a.
I didn't see it coming.
Did you not? Like, previously on, they had like that's one scene of, oh, when a witch does this, then this.
I wasn't really. I was too involved on just seeing her just slowly melt away and go old. And I was like, oh, she's losing her powers. She's getting them, because Agatha's just like sucking in the powers and holding onto them. And then we get the fucking full reveal of the Scarlet Witch costume. Fucking badass, man. I love that costume. Design. It looks cool. Like, what else do you want from it? That costume design looks really dumb in the comics and stuff, because it's like overly sexualized. And then this is just like, it looks pretty fucking badass.
It looks very cool. I do like it. They did a very good, well design on this.
I like this. I really like the Age of Ultron costume. No. Which one? Civil War costume.
Yeah, that's good as well. I think it's my favorite one, though.
I like this one a lot more, though.
And now she is the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. Or is she? Because, well,
we'll
get to it. But yeah, she then basically traps Agatha, gets Agatha's powers.
I thought it was a good way of doing it. I like that.
Yeah. Does she get Agatha's powers?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Agatha's depowered, basically, and then she just traps Agatha in the reality of being stuck as the nosy neighbor.
Yeah, I kind of like mind powers in it. It's like, yeah, changes her mind and then changes the outfits, which apparently she can do now to anybody.
Oh yeah, fuck, we forgot Darcy rams a car into Hayward's.
Oh, vehicle. I completely forgot Darcy was in the show until that happened. I was like, oh yeah, Darcy's still in the show.
Yeah, kind of finally ran over those kids, I guess.
Yeah,
just to get there. But yeah, I was just like, oh, that's cool. Darcy gets one final thing before she's never mentioned again in the MCU.
That's it. Never come back.
And then Wanda and Vision and her kids walk off home because the hex is slowly closing in around, because she basically had to decide whether or not to close the hex or let the people inside the hex who are trapped go. And so she's basically going, fuck, I have to let everyone go.
It's all quite emotional, really.
Yeah, and then it's slowly closing in, and then they put their kids to bed, and then it's like, fuck, that's sad. And then one last look at Wanda as she's in the light, I guess.
Yeah, that was a cool moment. And then, Wanda and Vision have a moment together, they kiss together, and then he fades out of existence. Is it?
Also, I think it's revealed that the last of the Mind Stone that was in her created Vision in this reality.
Yeah, that's what it was. I mean, it had to be. It was pretty obvious.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, the last of the Mind Stone because it gets taken away.
I don't know. She might still have it. Like, she still has the Mind Stone in her.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's all just been replaced with the Scarlet Witch.
Maybe
the Mind Stone is gone.
Or maybe a part.
And then the bubble closes around and Vision's gone. The kids are gone. And then she's walking through the streets and everyone who was in the town is like, I don't like you because you trapped us in here for ages. And then Monica's like, they'll never know what you sacrificed for them. And then she's like, if I had your powers, I would.
Which is true, to be honest. Like, if when you lose someone like that, you would do anything to get him back.
Yeah. And then she flies away in her Scarlet Witch costume. And then that's it.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of an abrupt ending, to be honest.
I thought it was pretty. I thought she was going to go, because she's saying she's going to learn how to control her powers and whatnot. So I thought one of the end credit scenes would be her going to Doctor Strange.
I kind of think what's going to happen now, though. Now that I've seen that end credit scene, let's talk about it.
Yep. So we talked about the first end credit scene with Monica Rambeau and how she's setting up Secret Invasion or Captain Marvel 2 or whatever, where it's the Skrull. One random agent just walks up to Monica and goes, "Hey, look, it's the Skrull," and then she's like, "Well, okay, cool, that's set up." But then the end credit is zooms in on a hut, like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
and it's Wanda sitting there drinking a nice cup of coffee or tea or whatever.
Initially, I thought it was going to be like something to do with Captain Falcon Winter Soldier.
You haven't seen the Hulk, so there's it's like there's a cabin in like the first Hulk where Bruce Banner's held up and it's like he's trying to be calm and whatnot.
To be fair, that's referenced in the show anyway, because I do know that.
Yeah. But I thought that would be the cabin.
Yeah,
because it's just in the middle of nowhere and it's like super padded, but I don't know if it is because I don't remember the cabin. But then it's revealed that whilst there's a Wanda just walking around, a Scarlet Witch is in the other room reading the Darkhold.
The question is that two different people or the same person?
Well, I quickly saw this before this episode. Someone said the same thing Doctor Strange does, where he's astral projecting his body whilst he's sleeping, and then
yeah, that's true.
So maybe that. But then it's a quick moment, and it's her kids start yelling out to her, saying, "Mom," and then she goes, "Oh shit," and then closes, and then so her kids may be still alive.
Well, I think this is definitely going to be leading in. I think this is how it's going to work. Is that she's going to try to create another way of getting the kids back, which will be then opening up the multiverse.
She might piss off Doctor Strange because she start messing with the fabric of that, and then it's Doctor Strange maybe trying to. Because it's also mentioned by Agatha that she has more power than the Sorcerer Supreme, which is Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, is it? Well, it is now, isn't
it? Yeah, he's the Sorcerer Supreme. Because the Ancient One died, and she was the Sorcerer Supreme, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so he's now the Sorcerer Supreme.
And then he took up the mantle. And then Baron Mordo is going over and killing all the other sorcerers, so it's kind of just a title by proxy, I guess.
It had to be now, doesn't it? No one else left.
Yeah. But overall, a fucking great series.
Oh, definitely. I don't know if there will be a second series.
Nah, they're going to do movies. Also, you wouldn't be able to call it WandaVision unless you do the same premise, and that would be kind of weird. But
the Marvel shows are a bit different to the Star Wars ones. So the Star Wars ones are kind of their own thing in their own universe, whereas Kevin Feige said the Marvel ones are all about setting up the movies, and the movies set up the TV shows.
And if if the Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki are all as good as this, bring them on. I'm happy to sit here and watch them.
Apparently, Falcon Winter Soldier is actually got more hype than WandaVision at the minute.
Wow, I'd hope so. I'd hope so, because yeah. But I'm just scrolling through just to see if there's anything else. Yeah, it's the overall series. I think we should do a little wrap up of what we thought of the overall series. The overall series starts off on a bit of a rocky foot, just because it's 1950s television.
Oh, I liked it
1960s.
straight away, but I'm a weird one. I know I'm weird.
I liked them, but I did think they were like bad just because of the premise of like 19. And I know a lot of other people agreed that it was kind of like, why is it 1950s and 60s television? And it's like hard to sell people on the first few episodes.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
Once episode 3 or 4 kicks off, then you kind of it picks up.
But once you see episode 8, it pays off.
Yeah, I'd say episode 5 because you're like, why the fuck's Quicksilver here?
I mean, like episode 8 is like you understand like why Vision, why she's done with this.
Yeah, but I think episode 5 is the one that entices you to continue going. Oh wait, what? Why? What? How? And then it doesn't really pay off because it's not Quicksilver. But I mean, they could still retcon that if they wanted to.
I mean, they might do. It depends on the speed thing, like I said. Like maybe he is a mutant.
Maybe. I still think they're setting up a Dark Phoenix storyline with Wanda, but that without the Dark Phoenix, but the Scarlet Witch is the alternative to the Dark Phoenix.
I mean, it's possible.
Because it ends on a sour note for Wanda. It's Wanda isolating herself. Why do you think the creation of the she's been villainized by Hayward and like her actions? She sort of teeters on the edge of being a bad person.
I mean, maybe.
So I reckon they're trying to set up a Dark Phoenix just to prove to Fox that they could do it without even having the character. because what they've done is they've put the back work in, like all of the actual like setup and stuff to create like an interesting arc, which the Fox films always just went, we'll do it in one episode. That's fine. One movie. That's all we need.
Actually, to give that Marvel credit, they really made me like Wanda as a character now.
Yeah, like Elizabeth Olsen fucking acting her ass off right now.
Yeah.
Like it's insane the different like mood she has to do, and like in the one where she's like the last episode, she's like doing so much stuff. It's just insane. I really like her. She's really good.
I just kind of wish I could see Paul Bettany again.
Well, there is a Vision around.
That's true, but he's not going to probably be as witty as.
Well, you never know.
He
might finally find his sense of humor and
he may not be white
and get coloring.
Wait, why is he white anyway?
Because he doesn't have Thor to look at and steal his cape designs.
I was gonna say because like even like Vision died, he wasn't white.
I think it's just because of the comics, and it's just like Vision's vibrant and colorful, and then you have what's the opposite of that? Just white. And I don't think they could put Paul Bettany in blackface. So,
no,
you know.
I mean, we'll wait and see. That was a great series, and I look forward to doing Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and we'll do maybe something a bit different. We might actually have the episodes coming out as they release, and then wrap up. But yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.